in the way of Elegy, that they have, like the Talia Flick, which will really shut down things like the Skarner, the Renekton from getting in. But the dive does need to be careful because you are playing the Braum. Braum, one of the best supports into dive. As like a tankier option, you do of course have things like Janeth, which are just as good into dive, but it's a bit different in the way of the style there. But again, I think both of these comps can be strong. I think some scalability coming out from both squads is going to be appreciated, but might be a little bit of a mid-game edge here for Elegy as we're waiting to get into the Rift.
Yeah, one thing I am going to keep an eye on for this game is, given what I can tell from how these players play, and especially since it's finals, there may be some nerves. You know, this is it. This is the end of the season. There's no more to go. You have to leave it all on the Rift. I'm going to be paying a special close attention to mid lane here. I feel like if you are ELE, you really try to want to make sure that that Smolder has to wait as long as possible to get to Smolder stacks. And I do expect to see Surbag here on the Trundle making routine ganks. I'm not going to say camping because that might be a little rude, but I do expect to see a lot of movement here in the mid lane, especially. And I always just like a really bloody, high kill count kind of game. So that's what I'm rooting for here.
See, I know why you like those games. It's because you get to like talk less. I know what it is.
Oh yes,
I
that's
just
it.
can't prove it. I just can't prove it.
You have no proof.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, it could be a bloody game, but at the same time, like in reality, these teams could very easily just slow down the game at any point with the Corki, with the Smolder, right? Like the game can get very dreadfully slow here. But let's hope that's not the case for me because I like the scrappier games. I like, some fighting. Now, while we're waiting for the Rift here, I will mention that Jinx is still on the table, which I assume I'm already going to put in my prediction. Next game, Jinx is getting picked. That's
I'm
my
picking
prediction.
Ashe. That's my prediction. Ashe is my prediction.
That is my prediction going in. Like we're not even out of this game, and I'm just like, yeah, Jinx is getting picked.
You're being a psychic. We're gonna see exactly how psychically connected you are to this series as we get in. I'm putting $5. My $5 are going on Ashe for next game.
You're going, yeah, you're going on the Ashe there. I mean, we could see both genuinely, as we are going to get into the game here in just 1 second. So hold on. Here we are with the transition of this best of 5 in game 1 here between Elegy Echoes and Monkeys Chopped. Let's see what I can ad lib here for some end calls, as I'm not usually a play-by-play, but I will be here today. To support a friend, so to speak.
Kidnapped into this particular matchup, but it's finals. It's so exciting. It's the glitter. We gotta get hype. Game 1. Let's go.
Yeah. So already here, kind of setting up the standard 5-point. Of course, invading into Braum is actually insane. You should never do it unless your level 1 is just nuts. But unfortunately, for the side of Elegy, not really going to have a nuts level 1. As we are just seeing both junglers kind of standing around in the mid lane looking at one another. Little two-man stack here in the banana brush for Elegy, as Korra is smoldering on the top side of the screen there, is the best way I can describe that. As early ward potentially coming out here, Bexen, as the rocks will miss, so no poke. A little bit of mana wasted here for Hooligan. Q will miss as well, so ward trade across the board.
Very
Any
exciting.
expectations from these junglers starting up? What's happening?
I really think that, from what I can tell, granted, right, everything can change in a finals. People pull out strange strategies and maybe crumble at the last minute, and I really hope that is not the case here, because from what I can see, both junglers they want to be involved, whether it be Surbag, who seems to be a lot of kind of a facilitation, kind of a setup style of jungler, and Just Cooper seems to be they want to have a high kill. They're really involved in anything that their team is doing, so I really do actually expect some fairly efficient clears, and I would not be surprised if we get a very early gank. Skarner especially is pretty notorious for coming over the rock wall when you least expect them. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see Just Cooper show up in a lane, maybe even top lane, which seems to be, you know, something they want to make sure that they don't lose too hard.
Then if play goes in, level 2 is here. Nanites is falling really low. Is forced to flash away, does have teleport. Health pot is ticking, so does live, but fantastic level 2 punish here. Sorry to cut you off, but fantastic level 2 punish. Coming out of Elegy, getting the shove early, which is a bit problematic here. You are playing this mage on the bot side, and already blowing your flash is less than ideal. Nanites now able to heal back up some of the HP. Which will help a little bit here, but I suppose I'll let you continue, as Xenoblade will miss.
You can always interrupt me, Ozzy. I give you full permission at any point. But I really think that's it, is that I do expect these junglers to be super involved, and I do expect this bot lane to be pretty intense. I mean, Bray doesn't seem to be... it seems to be a lot more of a want to throw hands constantly kind of bot laner, as we just saw in that particular engage. They're at level 2. And so while Nanites...
Nanites is dead.
Ooh. I see a gap too long.
Nanites just walks forward and dies. Now, the thing about Corki as well is the Corki does enable you to be really aggressive at like the lower levels. It's just when components are coming through, he's not necessarily the best because the other 80 carries start to close that gap. Gank on the top side potentially. Void does get the stun out with a W. Cooper does force out the flash from Heater here with the E, so fantastic play from Cooper to find a flash on the top side. There's a little bit of a counter play, despite the Trundle not really showing up just yet on the map doing anything. If they're aware enough, they'll actually know that he hit the Scryer's Bloom, but yeah.
Exciting. See it? We're already, what, 4 minutes in, already 1 kill, going exactly the way that I would like. This actually kind of illustrates the next thing I was going to yap about. I'm a little concerned for how Braum
Cooper is back. I'm going to pause you right there. Heater now does get pinned back into the wave in a 1v2 scenario. No flash. Is Mbessa, but I don't think you have enough dashes here as Cooper kills Heater, disrespecting the Skarner return gank there, and falls prey.
Right over the wall. Now I'm psychically linked. That's exactly the kind of Skarner play that I expect, and I do expect that to happen more than once. When Void is able to get ahead, they're able to really kind of stack those kills for their team, so I do expect to see that more than once, especially with maybe being a little nervous here about this bot lane. I love it. I love to see a return Skarner gank. That's always so fun, at least for me. Probably not for the top laner here for ELE, but this is going to be a little bit of a battle. I worry about Braum's peel ability with the way that this team of ELE is set up to kind of continually go forward. With a Leona, I feel like just kind of does a little bit of a job in this particular bot lane matchup. Corki is, at least for me, as a ADC main, Trundle here making his move.
There's going to be a ward, but Xenoblade coming through. Nanites might get caught out here. Nice pillar coming through from Surbag, but not enough damage to Ice E coming through. Off of Nanites to get quite a bit chunk here, but again, no play there. Nanites able to retreat to the sanctum of the tower there, as is able to live, but nice play, or nice look from Surbag, just ultimately not going to be able to convert us. We'll get dead to the rock throw from Cooper. This Ishtalian Scorpion continues his reign of terror on the top side of the map with a second kill.
Again, I'm not shocked. Just Cooper, regardless of who they're playing, though Skarner looks like they're wanting to make their way back to the top lane just in time for Grubs and to catch out this Mbessa.
As I just said, Heater now in a 1v2. Dominus is popped up here for Void. Does have the public execution. Will pop it late, but it's not going to be Void tanking the tower. And neither of them go down. Cooper with a masterclass in pathing here in this early game. 3 KP. Getting it started early. Feats of Warfare claimed, but it will be the Drake in return for Elegy.
I think that's a fair trade, honestly. I feel like ELE may be wanting, despite Smolder being on the enemy team, at this point they may be looking for a little bit of a scale. They may want to go a little bit later. Dragon stacking is a good opportunity for them to make sure that they stay relevant, especially as Smolder continues to scale up.
Yes, playing the bot lane here as should maybe result in nothing. Lightbringer though with the exhaust might go down here. QW will land. And it's going to be Nanites picking up a kill onto Lightbringer. Bray now forced to flash away from the pen of Cooper. Cooper on the Around the World tour. Call him Pitbull because he's Mr. Worldwide.
Surbag here just a little too late to be able to provide that support and make it a 3v3. Fantastic play here by the side of MKC. Throwing hands back as well, making sure that Corki doesn't get away with it. And shutting the Leona down as well. Now, granted, it wasn't shut down gold, but a kill is a kill. It is 1-4 here on the Rift with about a 1k gold, almost 2k gold lead for the side of MKC. And as I was saying, so Dragon went to ELE. I would not be surprised if we see a little bit of a battle here over Grubs. I think that that is a particularly important pickup here in the early game, especially when you have players who like to split push on a side lane. So we'll see exactly how that shapes up here. Looks like we've got almost everybody here in the topside jungle. Corki by their lonesome here on the bot.
Will be a 4v4 as Nanites is walking back bot lane, but boy, Dominus was popped up early. Cinderblade, but CC is so brutal. The Impale lands onto 2, but I don't think it's going to matter. Surbag able to flash himself away. And Elegy fight back here. Might lose the Grubs off the back of this, but at the end of the day, it's a kill for the Ambessa as they are looking maybe to potentially re-engage. And here comes the public execution. It finds Cora, and that's the most important member. Nice seismic shove onto 3 here from Hooligan, and it's going to be a complete wipe here. Surbag won't even fall down himself as Cooper finally goes down after his little terroristic plays around the map. Gets picked up here, and that's a triple kill going over to Hooligan on the Talia.
Well, and that is the exact kind of energy ELE needs here, especially in this early game. Unfortunately, with, as you said earlier, the Smolder insurance, they really can't afford to wait super long and hope by the time they get, to max items here on the Corki that it will be able to do enough. So that being said, they have the first dragon. They've got 2 grubs, one going to the side of MKC, but they are now up in gold. They have flipped the script here. We're at about 10 minutes. So it'll really come out to who can make use of this energy, right? So ELE here obviously have a little bit of a leg up, but MKC definitely not out of it. They have a very good team fight. The re-engage there, I feel like honestly caught them off guard. I don't think they were expecting it. ELE coming from both sides around that Baron pit, catching all 4 members there of MKC out. So fantastic. Talia loves that gold, loves those kills. Smolder slightly ahead still on CS, but Talia definitely pulling ahead here in the mid lane, which is exactly what you want to see if you are Hooligan. You definitely need that when you're facing a dragon who may or may not be calling their mom at any given point. Taking a look.
I'm reading this right, I think the stacks for Smolder is already up to 78 at 10 minutes. So Cora
That's a lot.
is stacking so incredibly well here. And something to mention of that last fight is, Smolder does really like those longer skirmishes when, you don't even need to win them, right? Like, the objective is to get to 225 as fast as possible. So the longer the skirmish, the better it is for you. But Elegy actually able to get the dragon out of the fight so quickly with the amount of CC they were able to pull out with the public execution surprise onto Cora. That's really not much you could really do besides flash out of it. But yeah, we'll be 83 stacks here for Smolder. So already doing a great job in terms of stackability. Cooper now gonna get pillared up, but it will just be some more vision clearing here in this jungle. Hooligan, though, able to do so much damage with these rocks towards Dreamy as this Drake is spawning up here in about 20 seconds.
Yeah, one item on Talia is quite a spike and does make her scary. And, there's something you said for the scariness of the Impale from the Skarner is obviously a fantastic CC tool. But as you said, if you can play a Talia well and you can knock people up, especially in your rock carpet, I mean, it feels much more significant in some way than just getting kidnapped by Skarner. So definitely something to watch out for. And I think you're right on with Heater having a fantastic public execution in that last fight.
Here comes the pillar. Surbag does get the subjugate off before the Impale, but look, the Talia's here with the ultimate coming through. Dreamy forced to flash away. Bomb is called, but it's not going to do nearly enough damage to turn this fight around. Cooper now is beating up on Lightbringer, will trade it back 1-for-1 with the bleed. But at the end of the day, you'll take the 2-for-1 and the second Drake here for Elegy. As actually Void might find Heater, scratch that, as Void will force out Heater a little bit uncomfortably under tower. Dominus is available. Korra is kind of poking around as the teleport coming through from Nanites, as it will be a kill here in the top side from Void. Overstay from Heater in a counter matchup is basically just dove here with the Dominus. Void now 2-1 on the Crocodile. Pretty angry about it, I suppose. A lot of fury built up here, as will get wasted as he recalls.
It is quite interesting. This game is starting to hit kind of a shift where we have these early objectives in the hands of ELE, but MKC has great potential, and they have, in terms of the champions that they have and also what they're able to do so far. I mean, we have Void here, 2 kills on the Mbessa here in the top lane, and the Crocodile doesn't necessarily get less scary the later we go on.
Yeah, gank here from Surbag. Nice pillar. Does force out Nanite's flash. Flash forward from Bray. Might be a little bit over-aggressive here. Won't get punished for it for now, but you don't find anything with your flash, so won't be available for 5 minutes. You'll be Chemtech Soul this game, as you can tell by the plants on the map. Heater really struggling, though, in this matchup. It is, of course, a Mbessa counter matchup, which makes it even more difficult. And Cooper, already wanting to visit once more, has kind of placed a little Ishtal scorpion-sized tent here in this top side, which is fine. But really, Heater does need to respect this a little bit more, as Void getting a nice trade once again into the Mbessa. Skarner going to be able to E himself away from any play here onto the Scuttle. Won't be able to get it, though. 40 seconds here to the Rift Herald Vexen, as Bray doing quite a bit of damage here on the Corki. Triforce completed a little bit earlier than normal.
It's just quirky things. Corki is such a champion.
Lightbringer Solar Flare will be sidestepped by Korra. Does force out the flash with a seismic shove, though, thanks to the slow coming through from Solar Flare. So really well played and really well executed there, specifically from Elegy to force out Korra's flash. Smolder can be a little bit difficult to pick off, but here comes the Weaver's Wall, as Hooligan is here, does flash away from the Braum. Cooper does go down ultimately to a bonk from this Trundle, but look at Void, he's on the collapse. Dominus has popped up. Hooligan with no flash in a really rough position. Seismic shove to give them some space, but Lightbringer goes down to Korra, and it is a 1-2 punch back from Monkey's Chop.
That was really well played. Honestly, the 3-man impale there from the Skarner, honestly, I think saved the play, even if it didn't save him. Just Cooper going down in that top lane fight, but allowing enough time for the rest of his team to rotate to honestly take the win there in that topside jungle fight. Smolder, again, more scary than ever. 132 here at 15 minutes, which the timer is ticking down so fast if you were ELE, and it feels like they may just be losing their gas just a little bit. The Rift Herald has spawned. There was a lot of hovering on that top side, and it looked like they kind of wanted to take that pick on Just Cooper and turn that into the Herald. But fortunately for MKC, they were able to, again, turn that around in their favor, meaning everyone kind of backed off, which does mean we have the opportunity for another team fight here coming up very shortly.
Yeah, Void teleporting back top. Dominus almost off cooldown here, as same thing for the Impale. But it will be Elegy pressing forward around this Herald. Will be started up as Elegy now getting this Rift Herald down to about half. Nice seismic shove on some poke damage here for Dreamy. No follow-up available. Zenith Blade will go wide, or I guess will go long, I suppose, as Lightbringer is kind of zoning them off a little bit here. Surbag picks up this Herald, but will they be able to get out? Seismic shove is going to miss. Void pressing forward, has a lot of fury. Subjugate comes back for Surbag as he's forced to flash out. Impale lands onto Lightbringer. Where's the damage? Seismic shove to knock them back a little bit. Flash away from Lightbringer, and this might be nothing. This play is just gonna dissolve as I'm surprised that Elegy even allowed them to get engaged on it. Surbag gets the cancel onto Cooper, forces out the flash. And yeah, so that will actually be the play dissolving.
I'm honestly shocked it kind of didn't occur in a team fight the way that I was honestly expecting, especially the way the Grubs fight went. And then MKC once again looked like they had a good re-engage rather, onto this play by ELE after the Rift Herald had been taken, but it just seemed like they didn't really pull the trigger all of the way. They just kind of let it happen and fizzle out, which is a little bit shocking. Rift Herald there immediately used in the mid lane. The bot tier 1 tower for Elegy, I think, is held on by a wish and a prayer with approximately like 5 HP left on that tower, but it does look like MKC want this dragon and may be willing to fight for it. But again, they just seem a little passive, and I'm not sure if they're waiting for a good pick, if they're very concerned about how put out a lot of damage. It seems a little odd. The pillars from Surbag have been so spectacular, but Monkeys Chopped are just not quite stepping in the way I expected them to.
Now going to start this Drake up officially here. Ray on the side here. Weaver's ball to come through. Hooligan jumps into the middle of all of them. Forces out the flash from Nanites early. The pin is good here onto Surbag. Subjugate utilized though onto the Skarner, so he's feeling quite squishy right now. Lightbringer on the flank of all time. Solar Flare lands onto 2, and it will be just Cooper falling down early. The ultimate coming through onto Hooligan is not going to be enough, but this QW will land that. Nanite not missing just yet. Hits one onto Bray as well. As they're getting lower and lower, the poke is starting to get a little bit brutal. Surbag does secure the Drake. Lightbringer will sacrifice themselves for their bot side, or sorry, their AD carry and their jungler to get out. Pretty messy fight overall. Elegy do find Soul Point, but some kills going back over towards Nanites on this way.
Yeah, again, it just seems a little odd. It seems like neither team can quite figure out exactly where they need their damage dealers to be positioned to really affect the team fights. Honestly, it says a lot that both Korra and Nanites were alive there at the very end. I think it showcases maybe we need to be a little bit different about our target selection if we are the side of Elegy, to make sure that we're shutting down the Smolder as soon as possible. Again, harkening back to that fantastic public execution on Smolder, what seems like about 1,000,000 years ago, even though it's only been 20 minutes. So as we're hitting a little bit more towards the mid game, we're about 20 minutes in, and honestly, it's a very even game. 1 tower each, only 1 kill up here for MKC, but 3 dragons and 2 grubs here for the side of Elegy. So overall, it's still anyone's game. As we're getting deeper in, though, the Smolder becomes more and more relevant, a little bit more scary, but you still have the scaling right from the side of Elegy. So at this point, I feel like Elegy needs to start looking for ways to start closing the game, to start really pressuring Monkeys Chopped for a win, right? Because again, this is finals. There's nothing left, right? You want to start strong in a best of 5, because otherwise it's going to be a very long night. So we'll see exactly where each team is going to go. I'm excited to see how Monkeys Chopped might try and play some of these upcoming objectives, especially now that Otacon spawn would be fantastic for either team.
I think the additional stats here from Otacon would be very well appreciated. A lot of damage from both sides, but the amount of damage Wei was actually able to do that last fight, very indicative of that fact. So a little bit more adaptive force certainly wouldn't be too annoying, I suppose, for Microsoft to picked up here, as I'm sure their carries would be very happy for that. But Elegy, again, gold lead doesn't really necessarily state anything, but in general, the amount of objective control they've been able to have all series long, or no series, wow, we're in game 1, buddy. In game 1 has been very good. I'm getting ahead of myself here a little bit, as more farm in the mid lane. But can Nanites kind of keep up that pacing in the damage? 2 items here on this way. 1k gold lead over the Skorky. Void as well on the Renekton, about 1,500 gold. Cooper, though, might get picked off here. Xenoblade is going to miss. The Impale lands onto 2 once again, but he goes down so quickly. The Subjugate makes him so squishy. Teleport coming through from Heater just to add some added support here for the Atacon. Tier 2 tower not even under threat. They have teleport on Hooligan if need be. Mid tier 1 might go down, but this is free Atacon back sent to Elegy.
Yeah, once again, I'm kind of shocked by this. It does look like they are the side of Monkeys is taking this tier 1 mid, but I mean, Just Cooper unfortunately making the great mistake of walking blind into a bush. Never what you want to do, especially when there's a trundle with a pillar on the enemy team. So very unfortunate, and Pale not quite able to buy them enough time for the rest of their team to rotate to them. A little bit of a fight here in jungle, though.
Yeah, will be a fight coming through. Surbag gets stunned up by the Braum, and the back from Hooligan is good, so Lightbringer now in danger, might go pay the price. Flashes away, but the slows are good. And Lightbringer, not long for this world. Zenithal Blade back in to get Surbag out guaranteed. Hooligan with a nice shove for some poke damage. But unfortunately, Lightbringer once again is unfortunately going back to base in the grayscale.
Yeah, meanwhile, while that was happening, it does look like Renekton took the tier 2 bot side. So this is tier 1 top, tier 1 and tier 2 bot, and tier 1 mid. So it is a very interesting division of objectives on the map, not just between the monsters to kill, but also the towers, where Elegy have had, honestly, complete control over every single map objective regarding Dragon, Grubs, Herald, Otacon so far, but don't have quite the same map presence in terms of ability to access lane.
It's kind of sitting here. Zenith Blade is good. On to Cooper. Dominacy is popped. Not Lightbringer, remember, flashed earlier, doesn't have that, so he's going to get picked out very quickly here. Solar Flare not even utilized before he goes down. Void does go down early. Heater, though, 225 is online for Korra, and he's going to get executed as well. So Korra picks up a double kill here on the Smolder with that execute. And now flash forward from Korra. Finds the damage onto Surbag. One more Q will do it. Korra goes down in response, but Bray so low now in a 1v1 against the Skarner. Nice blast cone over the wall. But it's going to be a winning fight here for Chopped, as the Smolder are online, able to do so much damage, and it's going to be their first strike of the game.
Yeah, that was a caster curse. I apologize to LG, that counts as a caster curse. But really fantastic fight. And I honestly think the difference here was that Monkeys Chopped had their damage dealers there. Smolder hasn't really been available in all of the fights as much as I think would have been useful, often coming late to some of these team fights, especially these picks in jungle where you have members of Monkeys Chopped kind of walking into bushes, maybe with no vision. So this was honestly one of the first real instances of exactly how the late game is going to continue to go for both of these teams, right? We have 242 stacks here on the Smolder, and when they're there and able to provide the damage that they've been building all game, Elegy have to be doubly careful of where they're located and how they're playing those fights out. Unfortunately for Lightbringer, I think just going in a little bit too early, the target selection maybe not quite on key. You want to get onto that backline, and unfortunately, the Skarner is going to be in the way of that. So making sure that you are attaching that particular sword to who you want it to go to, especially this way or this Smolder. So if you're the side of Elegy, that's something to be a little bit cautious about. Yes, you have these dragons, as we've said before, and some of these early game objectives, but NKC is breaking this map open, and I think that the tables are really going to start turning in some of these team fights, and I expect Baron to really be a good first look at exactly how these late game fights are going to start going. Mid to late game.
The, Infinity Edge purchased here for the Smolder. I think it's going to be quite hard here for Elegy.
Yeah.
Unless they can blow up the Smolder. They have good tools for it. Public Execution is probably their best tool. But you can layer that with the Solar Flare. So again, they do have great, great CC here coming through onto the Smolder. Dreamy is potentially dead. Seismic Shove, though, stuffs him away, but it is going to go down. Honestly, the Solar Flare is great as well. Impale onto 2, though. Look at the damage coming through from Nanites onto Bray. Bray gets one shot. Cooper now uses the pen. Void is here, though. Dominance not clopped early. and it is a double teleport coming through from Monkeys, and they win this fight off of a great play from Nanites, doing so much damage onto Bray. The Impale is crucial in holding him in the carpet.
I was expecting Just Cooper to continue. Oh, maybe a bit of a return play here. Maybe not.
Don't think so. Don't think so.
Just a little bit of wave clear. That's fine. Just you know, tempting fate here in the mid lane. Yeah, I was expecting Just Cooper on the Skarner to be, as we saw in the beginning, as you said, Mr. Worldwide, really everywhere all at once. But so far, as we get a little bit later, more facilitation. The Impale really being used as a tool for Korra and Nanites to be able to expend and prepare, right, to be where they need to be to put out that damage. So a fantastic play there by the side of Monkeys. And as we're kind of walking, oh, man, both teams are kind of threatening Baron, but also not really. I don't really expect either of them to really make a play for it yet, because it does seem like no one's particularly interested yet. But, oh, man, great push here in mid lane. 5 towers for the side of MKC to 2 on ELE, which, I mean, again, it's the gold, about 3k gold lead here for MKC, only 3 kills up. But I think we're starting to see this spiral, right? Spiraling despair. Oh, even? Eh? Okay, I thought that was funny, Ozzy. Come on.
I don't know why I accepted today's cast. Cooper, though, in danger, forced to flash away. Public execution does land onto Cooper. They've been able to pick out Cooper. Impale is good, but look at this damage from Nanites once again in this fight. Lightbringer is falling low, and the QQ Snipe coming through. Dreamy now in danger against Hooligan, but look at the other side of the fight. Void forces out Surbag. Maybe one more Q from Korra will do it. Won't be the damage just yet here. A little bit tankier than I thought. Nice big shove. Catches out Nanites, but Nanites with the snipe finds Heater with the QW. And now we're staring down at a 3v4 as, well, I mean 3v3 because Braum just respawned. But again, Monkeys dropped off of a play that initiated by Elegy. And, you know, it is a fight that their front line gets eviscerated very early. They still kind of fight back so handedly.
And this has been a really fascinating game to watch. This way has been really on point. Nanites really showcasing their skills with this champion. And it's been quite fantastic, despite my terrible pun that you did not laugh at about Spiraling Despair. I'm quite upset about that. But next dragon is up here in 10 seconds, and it does look like both teams want to have a fight over it here. They do not want, Monkeys do not want ELE to have, you know, the full dragon stacking. That would definitely not work in their favor. So I think they are willing to actually fight over this, but Monkeys so far have not done terribly well with starting the objective and keeping that fight in their...
Well, gives away his position. Honestly, would have been an insane flank, by the way, but here comes the poke. Dreamy falling down to about half HP. Drake even lower than that, though, has no way to get in, and it will go the way towards Monkeys, but here comes the fight. Void goes in onto Hooligan in a 1v4 scenario. Is not going to find the kill. Lightbringer trying to buy time for his team. Goes down on the return. QW will miss from Nanites, and this is going to be a reset out from both squads. Not wanting to overpush, but the Baron is in the cards here. Hooligan does have teleport, but Bray going back to base. At this crucial time, they will see them starting this Baron, as it's going to be this Mbessa. First one here as the point of contact. Surbag getting here a little bit later, and Baron will be stopped, forcing out the Talia TP. Pillar will be nice, but they will clear out this vision, and they're going to start it. So they're going to start this Baron. Dreamy is here, does have heal as well, is sitting on a ward. They know it's there. They're going to try and this pincer move here, as Cooper does get poked out just a tad from Hooligan. Spiraling Despair will miss, but look at the teleport from Void. Dominus into 4. But the seismic shove is just as massive. Hooligan finds 3 members, but the health bars are so low. But look at Korra completely untouched in this fight, as finally the flash comes through from Peter to do some kind of damage. But look, Bray not able to do any damage, is so zoned off from this fight. And it's going to be Monkeys chopping their way through Elegy.
And it looks like they're going back for more. They want this Baron, but I don't know if their health bars are in a state where they can actually hold off yet another
Oh,
fight.
you know, yeah, here we go again, Surbag. We're on to Nanites, so the shove is good. Nanites is so low when they find the kill onto Nanites, they're going to be forced off the Baron. The slow from the sneeze from Chorus should be able to keep them away. But it's got to be a start. Can we stop, please?
No.
The start is coming through and they're backing. So this is gone. I think they're going to give this as Cooper is here. Might go for a potential steal. As no, they will give away the Baron. As man, we just had like a 2.5 minute long sequence of them just hitting Baron back and forth. But it will be Elegy claiming this one off of a great seismic shove onto Nanites from Hooligan.
And Nanites really mispositioned there for that fight, and Hooligan coming out with a fantastic play, managing to take down one of the key team members of damage here for the Monkeys. And I'm honestly a little sad that after so much hoopla around the Baron, they didn't even attempt to steal it. Where's the pizzazz? Where's the drama, Ozzy? I was waiting for it.
Well, if you want to throw the game somehow, I'm sure that's a great way of doing it. Considering they are in such a good position that even this Baron doesn't matter. Smolder with a GA online here. Pretty uncanny, but will be the GA. 4th coming out for Cora. Rabadon's death cap almost finished here for Hooligan. Has been quietly scaling up himself as Corky now on 3 items. So the biggest issue I think for Elegy is they really haven't been able to have their damage dealers kind of all connect at once to deal enough damage. Like killing Skarner's been kind of slow. Bray has been zoned out so often by Nanites in the majority of these fights that he's not able to do a lot of damage. So can Elegy find the solve before this Smolder gets critical? 335 stacks now. Has had the execute for some time. But still, Monkeys kind of a little bit on the back foot here from the Baron, but in reality, this Baron not getting a whole lot. They kind of just took it off the map to take it. 50 seconds to this next Drake. Soul point here for Monkeys, and Soul for Elegy as the collapse is on. Solar Flare is going to miss onto Nanites, but he just gets exploded. The seismic shove onto 2 from Bulligan is so massive. Look at the health bars, they're so low. It's just Cora now as their 1 damage dealer, and the GA is good, but it doesn't matter. The flash forced away thanks to the seismic shove from Hooligan. Hooligan on this Talia is on an absolute tear through Monkey's Chop as Dreamy now got to get picked out by another shove from Hooligan. And my friends, you might be facing elimination in game 1 from the judges that are Elegy.
That is exactly, I think, what you were just talking about looking for, is the ability to layer the CC, layer the damage, and make sure that you can burst the team here of Monkeys down rapidly, because it's what you need. You can't allow the time for the Smolder and, you know, Nanites here on this way.
You were dead to the burn, friend. You've been having such a great performance, but in a 1v1 against Smolder, you really don't want to be there. Cora, also with GA, I know trying to pop the GA is worthwhile, but going down and losing their flash isn't ideal, but they do pick up Soul on the back of that, so not the worst play for Elegy, just a bit unfortunate you're losing your flash as Hooligan, who has had such a great time on the Talia.
Yeah, it's getting later. We're 36 minutes here into this game, and once again, it feels even. It has felt very back and forth, and for a while there, it honestly felt like Monkeys were running this game, but Elegy finding their foothold back here, picking up the Dragon, picking up the Baron, even if they really didn't do anything with it. By God, did they get it eventually. And some fantastic team fights here, able to really play together as a cohesive team, which is, you know, what I was looking for from the get-go with their draft, and honestly what I expected. Lightbringer is scaring me a little bit, I'm not gonna lie. Positioning here making me a little nervous.
Yeah, 10 deaths here on Lightbringer, but regardless, still able to do things with 10 deaths, as he'd be able to do things with 0 deaths on the Leona. You're just really here for the CC. Hooligan on the top side. The collapse onto Bray here is on, but nothing happening just yet. Able to space away just enough. Weaver's Wall coming through to block them off from sieging mid. The wave wasn't even there, so they don't even delay it at all. As Heater now in a 1v1 against Void with the Soul. Might be able to do this, but look at this mid fight. 1v1 still happening in the bot side. Dreamy gets blown up, so it seems like the supports kind of getting picked on this game. Hit that, but nice Impale coming through. Look at the smolder damage on the Lightbringer, and the Redemption keeps Cooper alive just enough. The solo kill coming out for Heater in the bot side 1v1 as well. On the back of that play, Nanites getting hunted down. Spiraling Despair will miss, and it will be Cooper able to walk it off, and it ends up a 1-for-1, just not in that play. As Hooligan, look at this damage from the smolder. Getting a little bit outranged, but that RFC online here for Korra when the Kerchize is, you know, active. The Energized proc is available. Smolder gets so much extra range. And more stacks going over for the Smolder. The GA has yet to have been popped here. So Monkeys still might be on the back foot, but the Smolder insurance is still alive.
Very much so, and it's so interesting given how many kills here are on the Sway and on the Smolder that it just doesn't seem like they're able to work cohesively yet. They're able to make some fantastic picks, and when not CC'd by Elegy, are able to do the damage, able to get the kills. But as we're getting later and later here, it does seem like Elegy is not willing to let game one go without a fight, working really well together as a team, really adjusting how they're doing some of these target selections, and I think doing a fantastic job of finding their way back into game one. They are currently 3K up, and it looks like we're going to have yet another maybe series of shenanigans around the Baron. We'll see if it's exactly as interesting as it was last time. Maybe a little bit of a pause here. Oh, maybe a little bit of a breath here for you, Ozzy, as we're, you know, 39 minutes into this game, and it doesn't really seem like either team has a way to win yet. Maybe this will be it.
Monkeys do have a way to end, to be fair. It's called Smolder killing their whole team, which is almost happened. It's almost happened, but still Elegies were able to hold on, finding some great plays of their own to kind of bounce back despite losing so much map control. Baron, of course, spawned in here. Very tense moments for these teams. Again, it's game one in this best of 5 in grand finals. Ideally, you want to start off strong. It's not the end of the world, though, if you do lose it, right? But there are some great picks here already off the table. The Smolder, in particular, being off the table is really, really, really unfortunate here in game one. Because if it does lose, right, you are losing out on something that is so consistently solid. As now the pause will come undone. Not sure what it's about, but that's okay. We don't need to know as we get the little jitter from Spectator, which I oh so love. But, you know, anything can happen here. They might even find an engage here. Look at the collapse coming on.
Pretty exciting.
Not really here in a position to help, as hopefully the thing works. There we go. Just had to ask. Just had to say something. Hooligan getting some chip damage here. Cooper does get shoved out of his pen. Heater, though, will be able to walk out to safety. And Dream, nice W, but look at the damage on the Lightbringer. He's dead. The Spiraling Despair secures the kill, and this might be the play they needed. Monkeys are now in a 5v4, but Dreamy might toss it back. He does. It's insane. The both supports are so squishy. Hooligan, though, goes down to critical HP, has teleport. Here comes the Redemption to heal them back up a little bit.
Are they gonna go back to Baron?
As there will be no Baron start.
Okay. I was gonna have many questions if it was once again going to be back to Baron, but anything can happen here in Berserker. But it does look like that. I think they do want it. I think they're gonna set up for Baron again. But I mean, every time one team manages to get a good pick or have a good engage, it just turns right back around and maybe is even shoved the other direction, especially if Hooligan is still up and alive. And Bray is decidedly one you do not want to mess with right now. This Corki doing incredible amounts of damage, and it's looking really sketchy here for Monkey. How do you push into the team? How are you making sure that you're where you need to be, right? And it doesn't seem like they really want to test the Baron. It doesn't look like they really want to try and set up for it, which means that you're going to have to deal with Baron minions and obviously Elegy with that upgrade. So I'm not exactly sure what exactly is going to happen. It's a kind of a weird bit of a stalemate here on the Rift. Both teams fairly even, and I think it's the kind of thing where they can sense if they make a mistake, it's over, and neither wants to be the one to make that mistake.
Yeah, and sometimes though in the game of League of Legends, you need to play to win, not to lose. Or not lose is what I was looking for there. Obviously, you want to play to not lose every single game, but you want to play League of Legends, like not to not lose. Basically meaning you just want to actually do things around the map and play proactively. But Elegy and Monkeys are in this stalemate, as you said. Zerbag invading their blue in the meantime of this going on. Elder has spawned. Baron has been in the wings here for a little bit now. Peter kind of in a really interesting spot as the tension continues to grow. Seismic Shove will miss. Zerbag now with Lightbringer. I'm surprised. I'm really surprised they didn't pull the trigger. Look at how split up this LG team is right now. And again, we go back to just everyone going back to their own side, respecting one another. Nothing is started up here. Both teams too scared
to
start anything. One mistake can very well end the game. I say can, but one probably will end the game here for either team. As now the Elder will be started on Monkey's Chop. Nanites in a great position. Uses out the EW there to buy some time, buy some space. Heater and Lightbringer, though, collapsing. Drake is down to half HP. Cooper does get shoved. Some damage, but look at Nanite's positioning. He's in prime position, spiraling despair. Void goes forward onto Hooligan. And the Elder also still in the air. Hooligan gets one shot. The Drake will reset. Zerbag flashes out. Subjugate is utilized, but look, Void is living for so long. Here comes a redemption, but it's late, and this is going to be a winning fight for Monkey's Chop. Where is their damage? Zerbag isn't there. The Corki is trying his best to do anything, but Cooper finds the Elder Drake. And this is going to break open the game after such a long stalemate between these two teams. The fight from Elegy is so split that it just means demise.
Yeah, Monkeys really need to make use of this Elder. I mean, you basically have double smolder time right now, and the timer is ticking, so you need to make sure that you push. And it does look like they are willing to push, but they don't really have much of a wave to end the game. Timer's not quite long enough for all members here of Elegy to really do anything about it, but it looks like they want to push for it.
All the damage on the Bray is enough. Here comes the Elder execute. Dominus pop from Void. Solar Flare is not going to find a stun onto anyone. And look at the Nanites damage combined. Lightbringer tries to sacrifice his life one more time for this game. Hooligan not going to find any damage. And this will be Monkey's Chop picking up game one. As again, health bars are low. Nice flick from Hooligan, but look, GA still here for Korra. But they pop it early. Nanites and Dreamy. Here comes the public execution. Dreamy now. They're not going to end the game here. Dreamy is hitting the Nexus. It won't fall. I called it prematurely, and the caster curse happens again. And we continue to play. Baron is up here for Elegy if they want to take it. Oh my god, it is a cinema banger in game one.
The train continues around the tracks. It is not quite game over, though it looks so good. Monkeys doing exactly what I had hoped, pushing, but unfortunately, I honestly think they took a little bit too much damage from the tower. Their wave not quite with them. which allowed Elegy there to get some good damage, get the picks, and save their Nexus. Unfortunately, Dreamy Frog doing about 5 damage per auto attack on the Nexus means they were not able to take a win there. But they still have about 12 seconds on the last timer here, but I don't think Elegy are going to be able to push, but they do pick up the Baron, which will be, can they make use of it? Can they push back and keep the supers out of their base? One inhibitor down for the side of Elegy. What are Monkeys going to do? Elder is already up. They have about 3 minutes until the next one, and obviously they lost out on Baron. So are they going to be able to withstand this push here from Elegy? And honestly, maybe kind of, I expect them to bide their time until the next large objective comes up for them to take it again, given how both of these teams seem to want to play this end. But oh man, it came so close to an end there and just barely missing for the side of Monkeys. Fantastic play, but unfortunately not quite able to close it out quite yet. Elegy says, not yet. We're not done in game one. We have so much more to go. 46 minutes here into game one.
Yeah, we'll have to see how this Baron works out for Elegy. Should get them some pressure back here as now look at Korra's build. No boots. Picks up the shield though here. So overstacking on some crit. Pretty interestingly for that, but Korra most crucially not having the GA that was popped at the Nexus play. The back coming through. So another Baron here from Elegy, really not going to do anything, but at the end of the day, I guess you didn't lose the game, and that's what matters. And we have to remember, Nexus towers respawn. So that is going to be a factor here. Potentially, as Monkeys now kind of bouncing back their waves against Baron. Dreamy is in danger. Walks maybe a little bit too far forward. Does have the W, so is going to be okay here, but the damage off of the minion there onto Hooligan so much. Hooligan forced to back away, so yeah, this Baron is ultimately going to do nothing here for Monkeys, or for Elegy, excuse me. Monkeys able to stave off any potential gold going into the pocket here, but does it really matter? We're already getting to critical numbers. Just about every single person in this game is full build, including the supports. The supports are almost done building their items here. There will be no pinks to be had in these games.
That's how you know it's been a full game, when even the supports don't have room for vision. At least not yet. I think that is next season that they will always have a little bit of room for that. That's a little bit of a teaser for anyone who doesn't know. But man, as we're getting like so deep into this game, everyone's full build. Everyone has everything they could possibly want. Seismishove just missed here in Hooligan, from Hooligan.
Yeah, it's actually Solar Flare onto 2, but they are the tank members. It is going to take a while. The Sneeze is going to miss here. The Impale going to miss. The Public Execution on the backline. Korra is getting so low. Can Heater find the kill early? Korra with the Redemption heal. Heater going forward. Heater is going to pick up Korra. Void, and the damage from Nanites is not going to be enough, and I think finally the game is going to end. I prematurely called it for Monkeys, but it's going to be Elegy holding on against this 500 and something stacked Smolder, and a quadra kill for Bray on the Corki, who needed to step up in game one, and Elegy walked their way across the finish line. Oh my god, what a banger.
For real this time. Yeah, there we see it. I wanted to wait till the victory screen to really call it. Oh man, what an incredible first game. Honestly, it makes me even more excited, right, for game two, because now we have the question of, all right, first game jitters are out of the way. Can Monkeys keep the mental fortitude to be able to come back in game one? And can Elegy now that they kind of have a game underneath them and you have this first game of finals kind of under your belt, can we see a little bit more impetus, a little bit more energy to make the game kind of like really push and fight and get it maybe a little bit faster than 40 some odd minutes?
I agree, but we're gonna hit a quick break as we're waiting for the game 2 draft to start. As yeah, fantastic. I need a breather after that one, man. What a cinema game. As yeah, again, some crucial ultimate misses there from Monkeys, and Korra finally getting punished there with the public execution from Heater is what seals the deal here. And somehow, more shockingly, this Smolder did less damage than the Talia in this game. Very shocking, but again, we'll see you in a second for game 2. Don't go anywhere.
like. Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like. 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like. 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? Ay, coming down like precipitation. I ain't never met a limitation. Hate applying my elimination. Gotta go to Google for the information.
Hello and welcome back, everyone. Sorry for that short break, but you know it's definitely necessary for us to recollect ourselves after a game of all games, last game. Both
Yeah.
teams not wanting to make a mistake, but at the end of the day, Elegy find the one that monkeys made at the best time possible. And let's talk about the Nexus. Did you know to win, you needed to destroy your opponent's Nexus? Well, unfortunately, monkeys fall just short at that objective. Just short. Not able to get it done. And that's what gets Elegy back in the game just enough to find the fight onto Korra, who was their main carry. That was their biggest point of contention, was killing Korra this whole game. And once they had it done, that was it.
I do expect in this I also don't want to discredit nanites for how disruptive the Hui was for Elegy, and I'm predicting, I'm suspecting, besides my $5 that is already on Ash, so fingers crossed that I'm correct, I do expect to see Surbag in the bot lane more, because we didn't really see a whole bunch of ganks from the Trundle. We saw a few like counter moments, and like he was kind of late a few times. So I do expect maybe to see more energy in lane in this particular that's game 2 here. And if you're just Cooper, I mean the top lane strategy worked for a while until it didn't. And unfortunately, the Renekton was not able to carry them to victory, but I'm not going to get tricked this time. These are in the correct order. So
I really hope, by the way, that they're not, and you're just like, man, what is this like? Why is Yumi top lane? Like, what?
I've seen weirder things. I mean, come on. And don't forget, you put $5 on
A
who
Jinx
again?
this game?
On the Jinx's game?
On a
So
Jinx this game,
we'll
so
see who's right.
I mean, anyway, so to talk about the Azir ban, that's probably Korra's best champion, so that's not at all surprising. W ball knowledge, I don't even watch this and I just know the players, so as the Jax is coming through. Will it be the ever-present Jinx B1? Now, granted, again, we're probably going to see the champions in their order.
Yeah.
A little bit
I do
of
expect to see a Xin Zhao this game, given the bans.
well, there's
Maybe. Ooh,
Malphite,
Malphite.
Malphite top, and the Mundo coming through here. The
Volibear.
Mundo been able to perform quite well. Volley coming through as well. Xin Zhao, there you are. Call it very shocking here to see the second most blind pick jungler in the entire game coming through. Aurora, we paired with the Xin Zhao can be quite prevalent here as the Ziggs is picked up here in the mid lane. APA been playing it quite a bit at Kespa. You have players like Knight who will pick it up as well. So I don't hate the Ziggs mid. I think it just is potentially a little scary into something like the Aurora.
That's fair. I am interested because Elegy, honestly, for the second game in a row, we're seeing a lot of like what seem like to be tier 1 picks for a lot of these players picked up. So the Malphite, the Xin Zhao, the Aurora, these are all things that these players play quite a bit of. So I am excited to see exactly how that's going to play out. I love seeing people play champs that they're good at and that they enjoy, right? The Zig's an interesting pick. I love Xayah. Yes. Oh, I'm so happy.
Oh, we're back in Kaisa Zaya meta. We're both wrong.
Oh no, did we both lose $5?
Oh, well, I mean, we just the bet's off, I guess, because
Ah,
we were both
dang.
incorrect. Anyways, so Kaisa Zaya, what's new about that? Dive versus anti-dive. The Taric is an interesting look here from Dreamy, though. Might actually be the X factor
Mhm.
because there's a lot of tools to blow Featherstorm. But then imagine Featherstorm, you buy yourself some time, and then Taric ults, and then the Xayah just gets the free hit regardless of what's happening. So I do like the Taric here. A lot of good answers, but I do worry a little bit here for Elegy. There's a lot of beef here in this front line for Monkeys between the Mundo, between the Volibear. Even the Taric is going to help that as well. Can this Kai'Sa get through it? Because the Aurora probably is not going to be doing as much damage as you'd really like to see towards tanks, because she's not a tank killer this just in. The Burst Mage does not kill tanks. What?
No.
No way.
Oh, come on. Yeah, I actually really like the Monkeys comp here. So I know that I'm super excited to see Elegy on a lot of champions that they play a lot. However, I love the sustain that can come from Taric. I mean, I think that he's kind of underrated sometimes, especially in lower elos. I just don't see him as often as I kind of would have wished, just because the stun is fantastic and being able to apply it on more than one person is kind of like it's not like a shockwave like an Oriana ball, but that's kind of how I think of it, right? You're putting on someone who's going to be in their face, you're going to put it on a Mundo, and then they're going to be stunned for equivalently maybe 5 years, because Taric stun lasts a lot longer than you think it does. Meanwhile, once again, we have Korra on a champion that is terrifying. If you are Elegy, you do not want that Ziggs to be alone, just destroying towers left and right. You know, the satchel charge does a lot of damage, especially the later we get in. But that being said, for Elegy, I am really liking the Malphite. A lot of, again, single target kind of selection. You in particular are going to die kind of energy here coming out of the side of Elegy. So Maokai has some obviously fantastic lockdown. We love to see. I really hope it's cat Maokai, because I love the cat. You know what I'm talking about?
My color caster is talking about skins.
I love skin game, win game is it. Okay, I didn't get to talk about it last game. I missed out because we were too hype about game one, but I am hopeful for that in this particular game. But I do think that Elegy have the ability to play around picking apart different parts of Monkeys, which they did fairly well last game. Again, they had fantastic control over pretty much every objective. They were able to turn those team fights in their favor, and I think they have a lot of the same tools to do that. But Monkeys are coming in with a slightly different feel this time, so I think this should be a good game too. And I'm really biased. I love Xayah.
I mean, who doesn't? And again, kind of reminiscing back to 2018, 2019, you know, kind of reminiscing on that time period where Kai'Sa Xayah very popular, especially with the Eastern teams, but there's a reason it's very popular. They're both the exact same range, and it's basically whoever performs, you know, is just better will win. That is literally just how Kai'Sa Xayah works. Xayah a little bit weaker in that level 1, and something with this Maokai pick in support is that it doesn't really give the best like forms of CC for Kai'Sa. Like, you get the root, but it's kind of shorter range. Like, it's not something you'd like to pair it up with like a Leona, a Nico, which is the most popular thing right now, a Nautilus, right? Like, might struggle a little bit with the level 1 potential, but at the same time, you are into the Taric, you are into Xayah, so you don't really need to care about your level 1 as much. We will get up onto the Rift here shortly, but just bear with us. But I think that this dive comp might not work, because I think the thing I've been seeing a lot recently happen around like the Plat, the Emeralds, is that they don't know how to be patient into disengage comps. They just like, we must press everything, or they play super split up and it just doesn't work because their whole comp is centered around like playing together. So let's hope that Elegy are able to avoid those mistakes when playing into a disengage comp that Monkeys have provided us here.
Yeah, I kind of thinking more about the Maokai in this lane, it does make me wonder how much the Maokai pick is not really for the laning phase at all, and is really for kind of providing what Lightbringer was trying to do with Leona last time with those like team fight CC kind of thing. So we'll see. And it does sound like we're about to get on the Rift here imminently. There we go. There's cinematic.
Hey, game 2 between Elegy Echoes and Monkeys Chopped. Game 1 going the way towards Elegy after a grueling back and forth between both teams. Very long and drawn out game. to the point it was a stalemate. Even had a first stalemate over the first Baron, if you recall, where so both teams definitely closer in terms of evenly matched here, as I think that Bray here was actually able to pop off on the Corki a little bit later in the game. Didn't have maybe the best performance in the early to mid, and some of those earlier late game team fights that was kind of like cut off from the team, not able to find the damage, but ended the game with 10 kills. So as your AD carry, are you really going to be upset with that? Probably not.
Yeah, I think this is going to be kind of a slow start. Again, I'm wondering how, half the battle, especially in a finals where everything is on the line. Again, this is it. This is the end. How good is the mental of both teams, not only to continue on a win and also to come back from a loss? And also, that was a long game. And so people are kind of tired. Your nerves are on, high alert, and, the cortisol is flowing. I guess we're going to see exactly how that plays out here. I'm honestly hoping both teams kind of come in with a little bit more gumption. I think both were a little too passive. And as you were attempting to say at the end of last game, you have to play to win, not play to not lose, as you so very eloquently put, I think. I think maybe I'll cross-stitch that on a pillow or something. But as we start getting here into game one, nothing terribly surprising here is showing, for me at least, on runes. I don't expect to see anything truly bloody, but I do expect that as soon as level 2 happens here in the bot side, we're going to see an all-in, kind of like we did last game. I expect Bray to want to throw hands, and I expect Dreamy Frog and also Nanites to push back.
Yeah, I agree. I think that last game they were able to get lane control so easily because they were into a level 1 Hui who doesn't have the best, but now Monkeys will get the level 2 level up, but the respect coming out from Elegy is quite good. We'll pick up level 3 here right now, or level 2, excuse me, level 2 there. So back to even. No flashes forced out from Nanites early, so as a Monkeys fan, you're definitely happier to see that one. It ultimately did not get punished by Elegy, but still, in that last game. But any advantage you can have, you'll take. Even if, like you'd have to play a little bit more scared when you don't have your flash up early. Don't want to get ganked. Zinzao, though, pathing the same exact way with Volibear. Volibear should be able to win this 1v1 very easily into the Zinzao early. That is just kind of Volibear. Very good in the 1v1. Really bad into CC, though. That is something to mention, and will fall off pretty hard here in the late game. So, does come down to this mid game here for Monkeys, maybe a little bit. Or will just be another, frontline option here as Hooligan getting the worst of these trades. Korra really playing the range well, spacing quite good. Hooligan popping a pot is going to be okay, though. Nice sidestep on that Q as look at Cooper. We'll run into Surbag here in the river. In the Pixel Brush. Just flash forward from Surbag to get out of the E, but where's the follow-up? His team is not here. Surbag. What? Cooper just falls off, actually. Surbag is able to live there. That just feels criminal. Respecting the Aurora maybe way too much. Wow. Cooper, I think dropping may be a very vital kill. Scuttle Crab will be traded back. And again, you are maybe nervous. You don't want to make that mistake. You don't want to be the reason your team loses, but in reality, Surbag now is here. E is going to hit. Hooligan now forced to flash away. Cooper, just like last game, already forcing out some flashes early. Can they convert on that, though? Is the question.
Man, there was also a fantastic route there from Nanites that I really thought may spell doom for Bray there. But again, Monkey's not really committing to the play, not willing to really kind of go all in for some of those early kills. Like you said, maybe a little bit nervous here in game 2, especially coming on the back of a loss. But before we get too deep into it, I do want to point out, skin game, win game, Monkeys all the way.
Oh, Void forced to pop the ghost here. The skin is not keeping him safe against this Malphite. As the poke continues, Malphite, I suppose, wins the server game somehow against the Bundo. You know, a bit of the scaling champion, so we look by the stereotypical Giants belt. I'm sure we're going to see a lot of belts built here for this Mundo in this top lane. But Bray, able to do quite well so far, even with that root. Again, you said you were worried for Bray, but ultimately ended up good. And seeing a little bit of the spacing between these two AD carries, again, both of them are the exact same range, so it is what makes this matchup so funny to watch. Because you'll see a lot of like AD carries basically right on the edge of the range, walking back and forth against one another. Mind gaming. Cooper now in the gank. Flash Q coming forward onto Lightbringer. Lightbringer falls low, flash away. Nice Q. He'll pop the aftershock. Dreamy gonna go down himself. Nice here for Lightbringer though. Very interesting. Mana here for Dreamy is quite bad. That's with the level up mana, so it stabilizes a little bit. No dive to be had from Monkeys, but again, Cooper collecting all of these flashes so far in this early game, much like last game. But the difference here will be the early Drake started up here for Monkeys, which we didn't see last game. Maybe Surbag might check this out. We'll do so. Drake is not that low, so a lot of positioning. Look, they're just falling off here. It becomes slightly tagged onto Dreamy. Dreamy with the heal. Nice stun though, but look at the damage back onto Surbag. Surbag goes in. Where's the follow-up? Once again, Bray's not level 6, so it doesn't have the killer instinct. Lightbringer with no flashing. Cora picks up a double kill here on a deja vu play, but reverse it here from game 1. Monkeys getting ahead in their mid lane off of a play around the Drake.
Yeah, I was a little nervous there for that play. I thought they were going to let them go without a fight yet again, but Monkey stepping up to the plate, doing the damage, getting 2 kills here, and the Drake. Those are both on Ziggs, which I do want to point out is very scary, especially for the side of Elegy, as we talked about before we got into game here. So well done there, managing to get the first Drake, which is already different than the first game, which is definitely fantastic if you are Monkeys and you want to win here game 2 and finals. But some interesting play. I'm not exactly sure what the next objective here is. If they want to go for the grubs here up in 5 seconds, there's a lot of members here of Elegy on the top side jungle. And I'm a little worried that we may be walking into them as the side of Monkeys, but unclear. It looks like we may be cheesing here in this little bush.
Wonder how long they're going to sit here, but it looks like they're about to find some
takes.
members now. Cora is actually going to Squire's Bloom, but they're going in. Look, the damage is so crucial coming in for Fooligan. Fooligan finds the kill. 408 gold going over towards Fooligan on this Aurora. They don't find the kill on the Heater either, and the level up for sure will guarantee that. Nice death trap, but I don't know if they're going to be able to get anything more. Utilizing quite a bit of their ults here. Crescent Guard is the only one left available. Unstoppable Force utilized, and the Between Worlds as well. But it will be the grubs started up for Elegy. Great trap, very patient. Coming through. Hooligan in a 1v3 likes those odds, chugs down nanites as just some Aurora things. Nice range, nice spacing. Bray here in this bot lane against the Mundo. And yeah, just not able to get anything back from Monkey. So great play from Elegy. And we did talk about that. The series has kind of been, you know, back and forth. You punch me, I punch you, kind of taking their turns. And we start this game off the same way.
Yeah, you know, you had mentioned that you were concerned that the teams may not be patient enough, right, to play into these kind of comps. So I think that might be borderline too patient. That was really well done from Elegy, waiting what seemed like an eternity there in that bush. They knew that their opponents were going to be there, and by God did they wait. Fantastic play. 1 kill there onto the Aurora, which again is good news, especially because it was the Ziggs, and you love to see that there for Elegy, already trying to turn the game around a little bit in their favor. Lightbringer just standing there taking all the minions. I'm sorry. Just standing in lane.
He actually does prevent every single one
Yeah,
from going on the tower and living. So
That's impressive.
Unironically, Bray gets every single CS there, so good shout from our Maokai here.
Absolutely. It just looked so funny. I
supporting.
apologize.
Yeah, good supporting there. I'm surprised they didn't try to force him off the way. They kind of just let him do that, which is insane, by the way. But nonetheless, level 6 here for both bot lanes. Killer Instinct can be deadly.
Ooh.
Just listen to the name. Surbag, though, looking for potentially a lane gank. I think they might have spotted him on that minion. Not sure. Definitely they've seen you now, man. Like, sure, like, there's no way. When becomes lightning, it's gonna miss. They know you're here. Surbag will get them to shove this out as... I mean, it is primed. When becomes lightning, does find the slow. And here comes Lightbringer. Nature's Grasp is utilized here. Twisted Advance also. Here comes Cooper with a flash forward. And the Crescent Guard coming out through early. Also, Killer Instinct utilized for the shield. Bray sidesteps the stun, and Cooper goes too far. Bray picking up the first kill, and Nanites misses the pullback crucially. Here comes the Featherstorm. It's not enough damage, but trades back 1 for 2 with the Q. The Q is enough. Bray misses the Void Seeker now. As okay, Dreamy a little bit trigger happy on the stun. But what's funny is Bray, if he does get stunned, will lose this because the bonus attack speed given over to Tyrek after his abilities. Bray will overcharge forward, and nice flash coming through from Bray guarantees it, and that's another kill. So both 80 carries playing that quite well, and it will be Bray coming out ahead in that trade.
Unfortunately, Cosmic Radiance used a little bit too early there by Dreamy Frog, a little bit ahead of the game, meaning that there was not that invulnerability that Just Cooper really needed when all the way engaged with the bot side and the Surbag from Elegy. So just a little bit too ahead of the game, but I like to see it. I like to see the energy, so hopefully Dreamy Frog is able to make use of that next time in what I am sure will be another team fight that will start inevitably soon. Dragon here looks to be the main priority. Both teams hovering on the bot side here. Malphite and Mundo will probably go back top, but looks like we may be starting to engage here very imminently.
They're looking at it. Drake has started up here for Surbag, has Crescent Guard available. Between Worlds is available here as well. Killer Instinct, Nature's Grasp also not available. Nature's Grasp will come online now. Cosmic Radiance there as well, but here comes Cooper into this Lightbringer. Maybe getting picked up, but the Between Worlds does so much damage as well. And Hooligan, they one-shot Cooper. This Volibear falling victim to the burst damage from Elegy here in this early game, as they will even up the Drakes 1-1. And it will be another Chemtech Soul? Is that real?
Yeah, I think so. The plants haven't appeared yet.
That's what I'm saying. Is this Chemtech Soul? Am I getting baited? I might be getting baited. It might be Cloud, because we don't really see anything on the map in the way of changes. It's definitely not Mountain. It's not Ocean, because the bushes would be all pretty. Is Heater now in this top side against Void. Void pretty low, but has the maximum dosage. Wow, that's definitely a word of all time that I just initially said. But yeah, looking like maybe this is Chemtech for sure. You can tell. Look at all the plants now. It's Chemtech for sure. Who am I
2 in a row.
So yeah, insane stuff. But Heater still messing around with Void here.
Ooh.
Surbag is here though. Ghost coming through. Maximum dosage is popped. Cooper is here. Nice unstoppable force. Cooper does have the ultimate. Surbag now getting hunted down, but look at the collapse coming out from Elegy here. Hooligan with the Wind Becomes Lightning. We'll be able to pick up that kill thanks to the slow from Surbag. Void now forced to walk away from this tower. And a great heads up play from Elegy to rotate to the top side early. And it nets Hooligan another kill on the Aurora. Now 2-0. As they might not be done yet. Korra does get the Satchel Charge. Between Worlds forces out the flash. Dreamy does stun them up as well. Also to note, yes, I am aware that the Between Worlds no longer counts as a wall, but still forcing out Chorus Slash nonetheless. I just don't want to be flamed in chat like, you don't know what a world does. As Void coming through here, Void coming through is going to die for this first tower. As Ignite coming through as well, and it will be some gold back over to Heater, but first tower going the way towards Monkeys. So again, talked about the series being back and forth, Bexon, and it is continuing to be that way.
I mean, gold is literally even right now, almost quite exactly. And when I said that it was exactly 26k to both teams, there is 3 kills here on the side of Elegy as well, but there is 1 tower on the side of Monkeys. Both have 1 dragon, but there are 3 grubs here for the side of Elegy, which is good, especially since you do not want Ziggs to have the grub. So even if you don't necessarily want them, you don't want your enemy to have them. Ooh, Super Mega Inferno Bomb going top lane. Not quite doing a whole lot, but you know, it does seem so even, and it makes me wonder exactly what is missing from each team in terms of how they want to play these fights. Now, granted, we're only 16 minutes in, but neither team has really seemed to capitalize on the tempo. Neither really seems to have kind of identified exactly how they want to play this game. We have Void here in the bot lane with this Kai'Sa. Business Muno doing business things, wanting to push for a win. But yeah, it's very interesting. I'm not quite sure exactly how Dreamy Frog wants to play this Taric. It seems sometimes the stuns are really fantastic, and sometimes they seem a little bit ahead of the game. I'm not quite sure if they want it for the sustain, if they really are hoping for that Cosmic Radiance to come in clutch in some of these later team fights. But regardless, as we're looking kind of at the state of the game, things are so even. There's a slight CS lead here in top lane. Very, very minimal one in mid lane for both from Monkeys. Meanwhile, Kai'Sa just a little bit ahead of the Xayah. But it is truly anyone's game. We are seeing kind of a repeat.
Oh, they're going to walk into this. They saw them hit the plant. What is going on? Ray forced to flash away. Killer Instinct as well for the shield. Cosmic Radiance coming down. And a lot of flashes coming through. But Elegy will lit that. I am so shocked that they walk into that. But Korra getting solo killed by the Aurora of Hooligan once again in this top side. Well, I say again, it didn't happen. No solo kills have happened besides that one, I guess. So misspeak there, but I had to correct you. It's actually called Mega Inferno Bomb. There's no super. That would be Jinx's
my bad.
Whoops. As Cooper now getting rooted up. The collapse is on here, but they don't really have damage. You know, Nanite's just getting pretty low. Maybe the Malphite Tan is OP, but the pullback is enough to kill Lightbringer here for Nanites. Nanites with some great hiding, but the Kai'Sa is here as well. Pullback will hit no one there on the second attempt. Heater picks up another kill. Overcharge here. Moving forward from Bray. They do force out the teleport from Korra, so it will ultimately be a 1-for-1 jungler for your support. But look, crucially, your jungler being down for 20 seconds means this Drake is gone. This is the second Drake here coming through for Elegy. Again, we'll beat that Chemtech Soul. Honestly, some great Chemtech Soul users here on Monkey's side, for sure. The Mundo, the Volibear, but Mundo, speaking of, might be in trouble here. Between Worlds is available here from Hooligan if... Oh, it will be available now. They do get the Herald, or the Drake. Now it is on the collapse. Present Guard is looking to keep this life alive, but look at Hooligan on the backline. Doing so much damage with Between Worlds, but Void in the pit is going where he pleases as Void going low, but it's not gonna matter. And look, Hooligan is the one who goes down with Cooper finally getting back. And just what happened, what I talked about in draft, Elegy. You have to play connected, and when you are split all over the place, this is what happens. Monkeys pick up an early ace here. Very extended fight, but it doesn't matter. Monkey's able to pick it up.
Yeah, the dragon going the way of Elegy, but as you said, I mean, they just were not prepared, it looked like, for the comeback play here from Monkeys. Honestly, it reminds me very much of one of the many Baron plays up in the top side in game 1, where Mundo on the backside just absolutely decimating members of Elegy, and there was nothing any of them could do, going where he pleased and picking up several kills in the process. There is now a shutdown available for this Mundo, and might I add, he had also taken 2 towers so far. Mid tower also going the way of MKC, and the map is decidedly more open here for them, despite the dragons being slightly here in favor of Elegy, but they are 3k up. It is still anyone's game, and it does look like they want to threaten this Otacon. Monkey is maybe making a play.
Yeah, Lightbringer using the twisting advance to avoid the Mega Inferno Bomb, but unfortunately Lightbringer, much like last game, is going to get caught out. Heater is a little bit tankier though, so has the ultimate, going to ult out. Is going to be safe, so Unstoppable Force utilized defensively here. Wheel Monkeys pull the trigger now on this Atacon, knowing that this Malphite does not have ult. Poke through onto Dreamy. He's brutal as a pause coming through once again. Not sure what these pauses are for. They've been happening. They are what they are. But about this game, Monkeys, 3,500 gold up at 21 minutes off of the back of a fantastic fight coming through at this last dragon. Atacon in the eyes. What can they do? Talk me through this for both teams.
Well, I mean, it does seem like Monkeys here have a little bit of the priority, but notice the positioning here for the side of Elegy. They are decidedly closer to Otacon, and while there is more vision available for them on their own side of jungle, I do think that this 4v5 will, if it's played correctly, will go the way of Monkeys. Knock on wood, no caster curses here. I mean, it does seem like that the energy is just, oh, there's a very dead...
What is this PM? What is this PM for Fraud, huh? Oh, this poor Malachi. Leave him alone.
Malachi. Oh, Frog!
Oh, look
It's
at the
frog
frog.
time!
Look at the frog.
Don't hate on Prod. Prod was
All
giving
right,
a Santa frog
you
the
made
whole
it up.
time.
Yeah, you made up for it. You made up for it, okay? No flame. No flame.
But
Love you, Raven.
Yeah, that being said, I do think that Monkeys are showcasing what feels like how they made it to finals in the first place. It seems like they have a lot better energy. It seems like they're able to play together a little bit better. And I am liking the fact that they are willing to put some of the members of their team, like this Mundo, as we get an interesting flyby into the deer and train off the side of the map. But I do think that they're able to play a little bit more intelligently. They're able to play a little bit smarter around their abilities and the abilities of their opponents. Cosmic Radiance is still available here, which could signal a big team fight available for this Otacon. And the ultimates do look good for Monkeys here. So it could, while it's still obviously anybody's game, I do think Unstoppable Onslaught being down for this potential next team fight will be huge. Elegy, I think, really need to be able to pick the fight that they want. Even though Xayah, I do feel, as a Xayah enjoyer, I do prefer 3-item Xayah. I think it does a lot more damage. I think it feels a little bit better. But the Ziggs and the Xayah are both single targets that you definitely need to make sure are locked down before the fight begins, or at the very least, as soon as it starts. Featherstorm's still available for the Xayah, which gives them a little bit of escape. Oh, look at that little guy. Who is that?
This little guy is like gotta be the ugliest thing on the Rift, by the way, but it's so funny.
Lizard in our ear.
It's so funny. Anyways, speaking of Unstoppable Onslaught,
Yeah.
is there a Scion in this game?
Unstoppable Force.
There you go.
You know,
There you go.
in my defense, they both have half the same name. And top lane, as anyone who has listened to me yap about League ever, is a mystery. So my apologies to all the top lane enjoyers. I reparations shall be made. I will spend at least 2 minutes talking about nothing but top lane in apology later. So my apologies to the Scion and Malphite enjoyers. I would like to blame
just
the
giving my
frogs this way.
co-caster some a hard time here, but I think we're gonna hit a break. I kind of sunk cost fallacy. We've been in this break for a while, but it will be my luck that we go to break and they're just gonna come back from the pause instantly. But we'll see you in a sec, and hopefully we can let you know what's going on. If not, it is what it is. But the pause will continue. We'll see you in a sec. Hello and welcome back to the unpaused version of this game. I'm Ozzy, joined by Bexon, back here on the Rift. Lightbringer getting picked off right before this Atacon. Atacon will be pulled up here, or Santacon lovingly mentioned. And no unstoppable force here for this fight. And everything is available here for Monkeys. But look at this damage on the Cooper. The Between Worlds will not finish off the kill. The healing coming through from Tarek is quite nice. Void getting chipped away, has the maximum dosage ready, and the steal does not come through from Surbag. It was almost a good look, but the shutdown going to Prey, sorry. As now Cosmic Radiance comes through, Mega Inferno Bomb does connect, but this fight is so messy here. Nanites walking back and forth. Void Seeker hits it. Oh my god. As somehow Nanites... oh, okay. Okay, Hooligan, I see you. Doing the forbidden Aurora tech. But yeah, overall, really messy fight. They do find the Anacon, but it is Elegy able to kind of pull that one back despite really not having key ultimates here. Nice Featherstorm from Nanites to live though, as they don't even pick up the spot tower. So great stuff coming out from both teams there, I guess. 1 for 1. Mid tower will go down. So overall, in that play, gold-wise, will be winning for Elegy.
Yeah, like you said, that was such a messy fight. Honestly, I'm shocked that they were able to get away a smite fight. It seemed like for Santacon there, Just Cooper coming out clutch for his team, picking up the Otacon, which is, again, they need that energy. They need to keep pushing. Pause regardless to keep moving forward to win here and start the comeback in game 2 here of finals. Dreamy Fog with the Cosmic Radiance honestly coming in clutch there, and fantastic play by Nanites as Isaiah and Joya. I could never, to be quite honest, there's no way I'd be able to get away with that. Fantastic Featherstorm, managing to just barely evade Bray there in the final moments of that very chaotic fight around Otacon. That seems to be the name of the game here on the Rift here for Berserker Finals, is some very chaotic, very interesting and strange fights, a lot of back and forth. The game still very even despite different objectives going to either teams. Again, state of the game, given that we had a little bit of a break. We have 1 kill here for the Monkeys over Elegy. About a 5k gold lead as well for the Monkeys. But Elegy here have all 3 grubs and 2 drakes, which is fantastic for them. So again, it's still anyone's game. As we saw last game, it's literally not over until the Nexus quite literally explodes. Aussie, come on. You should know better.
Yeah,
you gotta
true.
wait.
It is true. As Hooligan on the wraparound here on the teleport, Between Worlds is going to hit onto everyone, and the engage is so destructive here. Unstoppable Force Spray, not able to pick up the kill onto Korra, but it is going to be Elegy winning this fight handedly. Nanites going down too quick, and they will pick up Soul Point, but look in this top side. They're losing so much gold. And again, very reminiscent of what happened last game, where it was Elegy, you know, able to get these objectives, but they weren't able to get the towers, right? They lost a lot of map control because they were lacking towers. Mundo pushing himself along in this top side, picks up some towers, and Baron spawned into the Rift now, as resets coming through from Elegy. Get a little bit of gold here. The Aurora is starting to catch up against the Ziggs. Ziggs working towards the Rabadons though. Korra doing really well on the Ziggs overall. I mean, had a great Smolder game last game as well, just unfortunately not able to win that one. So overall, I think she's performing quite well in this series. Only 2 games though, as again, game is even. You need to wait till the Nexus explodes before you commentate that the game is ending. As I learned last game. I'm usually not a play-by-play, so that is some inexperience, I suppose. But Void now running down this bot lane. Ghost coming through. Lightbringer is going to finally pop the passive from Mundo. We'll get it again. As Ghost, he's just getting auto attacked to death. Literally nothing happening here from Lightbringer. No answer back, but here's the play in the mid lane. Surbag forced to pop the Crescent Guard early. Root comes through from the Feather Collar of Nanites, or Blade Collar, excuse me. And Surbag is going to go down. Look at this healing, though. What is... Since that was OP or what? My goodness, able to heal up. Was actually looking quite good, but look, Baron is on the cards. They no longer have their jungler. Cosmic Radiance is off the board, though. Mega Inferno Bomb just as well. Cosmic Radiance. This Hooligan can do a lot of work here, has the ultimate available. And it is going to come down to the Featherstorm here from Nanites. Does have that ultimate available. Shuffle Force only connects onto one, and the damage from the Hooligan, just one shots in between worlds, really doesn't do all that much. Does kind of slow them down. Nanite's getting really chipped down now. Bray gonna go forward. Oh, the nice flash! Blade Collar is insane, but Bray just barely lives. But look at this bot lane. Void is pushing his Void in a 1v1. As now, Serpa gonna respawn as well. Does pick up that tower. And the issue is they have to commit their members here. But it is this Mundo who keeps pushing in these waves. Elegy might need some better macro here as Void with the maximum dosage has enough enough movement speed to be able to get away when becomes lightning. Won't follow that up. I'm surprised they don't keep going. Their whole team is here, but Void will walk away. Baron will reset, and it is just a couple kills back over to Elegy, who still behind in gold.
It is a Mundo. You want to talk about ridiculous healing? Mundo, Void basically back where they started before they even had that engage on the bot side tower, taking the inhib there in the bot side. But fantastic play despite the fanciest defeat from Nanites. Hooligan is just absolutely decimating. The Aurora damage is out of control here, which makes it very scary if you're ever in a confined space, which, as you may know, Ozzy, is most team fights, especially around objectives. So Between Worlds, very terrifying here. Even if it doesn't quite get the job done all the time, the damage coming out of the Aurora is just absurd. Half health gone from one combo here on Dreamy Frog, forcing a little bit of a reset. And it looks like they want to fight Baron.
He's struggling actually really hard in this Mundo 1v1. Mundo, again, completely unanswered here so far from Elegy. Been able to just scale in the side lane, do whatever he wants. Picking up more than a couple towers at this point by himself. But the biggest factor is can this Mundo in a competitive game in the Nexus off of the split pushing? Hooligan is going to be a-okay here. Just some poke coming through from Dreamy Frog, which gets healed instantly back up by the Honey Fruit. Soul spawning in here for Elegy now. 40 seconds on the clock. Void pushing down this top lane. Peter coming back with full HP, but look at this damage coming in from Mundo. It is so heavy. As the Q will land through the minions there. Lightbringer on the way here. They might need to get this Drake. Void could very easily try to dive this, but will not. As Elegy dealing with this Mundo has been a struggle. Continues to be so. Warmog's back up to full HP. As it's once again Light in a 1v1 to clear this way, but look at this collapse. This collapse could be massive back then, and Surbag gets the Crescent Guard off, but he's just dead. The healing doesn't matter. There's no response, and now this Drake is gone off an excellent trap for Monkeys. Nanites won't get punished from that, empowered blast cone. But the thing is how do Monkeys even get there? The poke coming through from Hooligans is going to be quite a bit. They aren't pulling out this Drake yet. Maybe Hooligans can do something. Will not. Did fall down to 200 HP though, so a little scary. But they get it done. Brayno running away. Here comes Void though. Void might just dive. This Kaisa Killer Instinct comes out early. Bray with the flash forward. And the kiting is decent from Bray, but look at this Mundo. Mundo still doesn't matter. Cosmic Radiance coming out will hit all three members. The health bars going up here. Slowly but surely for Void. Definitely going up very quickly here. 160. And the flash forward from Hooligan finds Cooper. Cooper getting picked out a lot on this Volibear. And it might just be them walking straight to Baron now. Mega Inferno Bomb and the Feather Storm are on. But look, setting up a trap. Void now has his passive pop. Can they do anything here? Void, Unstoppable Force comes through onto Nanites. As now, Nanites with a nice pullback, but it is not nearly enough. Feather Storm was good, but not good enough. And in this Baron Pit, our Elegy should be able to get this one for free unless Mega Inferno Bomb is the one to claim it for them. It's available. Hooligans, nice sidestep here. Does get stunned up. The turnaround, actually. Mega Inferno Bomb onto Hooligan. Really low, but the HP bar not gonna go down. As it is going to be the blue team of Elegy picking up this Baron. A little bit messy, of course, but what's to be expected? Look at this, how the series has gone so far. As again, the back and forth ceases to stop. Like, it will never end.
Never
It will
stop.
always back and forth.
One thing that is super exciting for the team of monkeys is
You know what?
Never
Just
mind.
hold that thought. In between worlds, we'll find Dreamy on the Tarek. Nature's Grass doesn't connect on anyone else, so the play is dead. So how about you get going on your job again? You know, I'm sure they'll let you talk now.
maybe. I mean, ironically, I was about to talk about the Tarek and how excited I am in the winter. How it does, in fact, help the sustain a little bit, but unfortunately for Tarek, that doesn't really help when it comes to an Aurora with a lot of damage behind them. Again, I really think it's so interesting. Hooligan's such a problem here for the side of monkeys. Meanwhile, Void still doing whatever the heck they want. So it's kind of a mixed bag. You have the Mundo, who takes more than one person to manage. However, I am very excited to see Elegy here pushing with their Baron minions, making sure they actually make use of it. I'm so excited. Much better than game one here. In the bot side, they're pushing for these towers. Aurora trying to handle this Mundo and has a little bit of backup coming, which may spell disaster. Ooh.
Now, does have the passive, so Unstoppable Force will do nothing. They do pop out the maximum dosage early, and we'll be him running away as the Mundo will survive. All it cost was an ultimate. We'll be back up before anything important is around. 1:40 to the soul point for monkeys and soul for Elegy. So again, game very close. It's really pivotal that neither team makes an ill-timed mistake, because if they do, that could very well be the game. And neither team, as you've mentioned, as actually Heater will find a kill in the top side with a lot of help from the boys. As actually, look at this damage from Kaisa. Nice overcharge as well. And where did the Tark just go? Dreamy just gets destroyed. This Kaisa damage is insane at this point. 4-item Kaisa. It is crit Kaisa this game because they did need a little bit of that, little bit more of this AD damage coming through. Nice satchel charge. Nature's Grasp coming through. Not sure there's going to be any follow-up though, as it will just straight up miss every single person. Surback might go over the wall, does not. Goes towards the wave here with the blast cone. As waves shoving in now. Baron falling off right now. As actually the flash forward coming through from Heater. Nice Feather Storm, but I think unfortunately Nanites, you my friend, are just dead, as it does get run down by this full health Malphite. Does get burned. But some poke going through back onto Bray as Drake, 8 seconds from spawning, 35 seconds on Nanites. Can they fight this without their AD carry? Surback going forward. Guard comes in early. Cosmic Radiance to find all of their members. Here it is a 5v3, but look, the health bars are sustaining here. Mega Inferno Bomb not going to find anything, but the AD carry, or sorry, Hooligan goes down early, but it's now Bray left standing as their only DPS left alive. Bray being looked at from Void, and a nice killer instinct over the wall. Cooper gonna fall victim early to this Kaisa. Heater in the backline, stalling them as long as they can. Void now running away. Nature's Grass is going to land, does pop the passive of Mundo. Knockup comes through. Void not long for this world. Bray goes legendary on the Kaisa, and it will be Soul once again for Elegy.
Man, lots of back-to-back plays here. Soul, as you said, going over to Elegy. And it's looking so rough for Monkeys to be able to find their way back in the game. You have Void on this Mundo that's able to do these side pushes, has able to get many towers, and is borderline unkillable in that it takes many members here of Elegy to be able to take care of them. But that being said, in these team fights, especially in these close quarters, in these jungles, especially where you have some of these kind of twists and turns and these walls in the way, it does seem like Elegy just have Monkey's numbers able to just absolutely decimate the teams even when Hooligan goes down. Bray really showing up here in this late game on this Kaisa. 12-1 here. Just an incredible play from the side of Elegy, really showcasing. I think they want to win here in game 2, and I think they're going to push for this end. Hooligan not the only dangerous member of this team anymore. And Heater also coming back here with a couple of kills. Shutdown available here for Heater on this Malphite as well as for the Kaisa. But for Monkeys, it's looking a little dangerous. The gold in the kill lead slowly getting out of control, though they do have more of the map open to them. It's just so dangerous for them to try and initiate any of these objective fights.
It is indeed, as now Nature's Grasp coming through. Only finds onto Dreamy, and this is another Nature's Grasp that's really done nothing. Maybe a little bit over usage and not using it in range is kind of the biggest issue here for Light. But Void, level 18 on the Mundo, is taking forever to get gone on. And look at this poke coming through onto Hooligan from Korra. The Ziggs does quite a bit of damage now with the Death Gap finished. Working towards the Shadow Flame now on the Ziggs. Bray has the Bloodthirster picked up. Lightbringer tanking the Q to allow Hooligan to base. Now, the biggest factor here for Elegy is Baron has spawned. You have 345 on this Elder spawn. Now, can Elegy find this fight, or are they going to overextend and give Monkeys kind of back control of the game? Void, again, such a crucial member here for Monkey Squad as we once again get back to the NA RAM standoff between these two teams. Korra, pretty low mana, but able to get the honey fruit plus the blue buff, so is going to be fine in terms of the mana department. But both blue trinkets being utilized here from Monkeys. Now here comes the start of the Baron. Void will be the one to face check. They have no blue trinket. They have no clue. Nature's Grasp coming through. The Baron is burning so low. This might just be gone. There's no contest coming through. Now the question is, will the fight go the way towards Elegy? Here comes the damage onto Void. Void going low. Pressing guard coming out early. Look at this HP bar from Mundo. Void. Now, Cosmic Radiance onto the Mundo as well. He is healing up so much. The pullback from Xayah is crucial. But Nanites gets rooted up. And now this could just be a complete wipe here on two Monkeys from Elegy. Lightbringer going forward onto Nanites, and look at this core of carries coming through from Elegy, flashing forward in the face of this Mundo. This Mundo might have been going where he pleases, but it's looking like he's going back to the fountain, just able to watch as his team falls around him.
Yeah, despite there being no wave yet here for Elegy, I mean, that was essentially an uncontested Baron. Wild Growth coming out at the perfect time to be able to deny Monkeys any chance to walk into that fight. And now Elegy has Baron minions, and I think they are looking to end here, pushing in mid and also in bot. Mundo not able to stop this, I don't think.
Yeah, Mundo is healing up a lot. I don't think this is going to be an end because the spawn timers are so low here. 40 minutes now ticking over, and it will be Nature's Grasp. They might try to go for it again, looking onto Void. Maximum dosage is available, but look at the damage. The Mundo just gets one shot somehow, as now it's going to be Monkeys. The cores are up here. The carries. Can Nanites and Korra hold off the Baron push from Elegy? Backs against the wall. Cooper going through. Nanites goes for the hero play, but it's not going to find it. Bray walking forward, and Cooper goes down as well. And here is Bray on the Kaisa, 17-1, and the Nexus for Elegy.
What an incredible end there for that game. It seemed on a knife edge for so long, but Elegy able to be a little bit patient, waiting a little while longer, and ending with some incredible plays here, both across the board. Honestly, Kaisa especially showing up there in the late game. And I mean, just looking at the gold, you can tell exactly how the end of this game went. I really kind of wish we had a gold graph because I think it'd be really interesting to see that change over time. But Elegy here coming out decidedly on top. But yeah, that is a 17-1 Kaisa.
Yeah,
that's big.
I mean, you're not able to get out onto the Kaisa, right? Like, very well. You are kind of playing this weirder disengage comp, and some of their damage is on Korra, right? Who is playing Ziggs, so you want to be able to poke, but in reality, when you don't have the great positioning, yeah, look at this. This is like watching a KT Rollster game. Just a roller coaster of emotions and gold here for Elegy, but great fight back again. Like, even when it looks really dire, Elegy are able to go blow for blow when it matters most, and then coming out ahead in these trades. Bray, the highlight in this match for sure. Can't take anything away from Hooligan though. The amount of damage the Aurora was able to do in the mid game, while the Kaisa was building their way up to the crit. You know, able to, before they were one-shotting people, the Aurora was doing it first. So, still props to Hooligan. But Cooper on this Volibear, I think, really was a miss. Really not able to do anything on this volley. And yes, you know, the Targ did have some problems, maybe left a little bit, you know, more to be desired from. But in reality, to me, it's just this Volibear, what can he do? Especially when you're going to 40 minutes, the champ is so weak. But even before that point, you know, in the mid game, we're looking at Cooper getting one shot by Hooligan or Kaisa, like it's cooked.
Yeah, and unfortunately, you know, Void on this Mundo did a lot, did so much for their team, but just not quite able to make up for the rest of it, especially because they needed Mundo there. They couldn't allow their top laner to split push because of all of the damage coming out of Hooligan and also out of Bray. So we are at match point now for finals. 2 over to the side of Elegy. This is truly it. This is do or die.
Yeah, we're going to take a quick break and stay with us. Thanks for watching, and yeah, be right back. Hello, everyone, and welcome back here. I'm Aussie, joined by Pexon in this best of 5 Elegy with another long one. Pick it up, though. Thankfully, you didn't see an Elder. Also, remember in that game, so when we were kind of off break and I was talking to you, I told you that I casted a game previously this week where Smolder got an Elder and then lost the game, which happened in game 1 as well.
Ooh.
Doing some noticing there. Maybe as Smolder you don't pick up Elder. It might lose you games. As we are going to get into the draft here, but we're getting the proper draft. Pretty nice here. So we'll actually be able to see some things. Not sure what this no ban is, but we'll update you when we can. But that being said, Elegy, again, Bray having a crazy performance on the Kai'Sa. Absolutely just popping off.
Oh, man. And there's so many champs still available for them. Yanara? I mean, like, that's
oh my god, these guys draft. Well, okay. Let me just put this straight, okay? Picking Jax early is insane. It's not like, because there's so many counters into it, but at least it's not B1 Jinx, okay? I'm so happy. Because if this is like tomorrow, I cast a series, right? I'm casting for Titan again. It's gonna be the Olympus finals tomorrow. This is just a B1 Jinx, guaranteed. Like, I'm just like, I don't want to see it. Anyways, sides have not swapped here, by the way, just to give a heads up. LG is on blue side once again. But the iFern might actually be something they need. Maybe they can get something going. I think Nanites has had a pretty great series as well. It's just been a bit unfortunate that the team kind of just crumbling around them. Yeah. No disrespect to Korra, by the way, because Korra's also had a great series as well. I had not put that, just putting that out there. Just, I think I would, Void did get a lead on the Renekton, but didn't really do too much. But the game did kind of go on for maybe a little bit too long for the Renekton to participate. But the virus coming through, he's kind of shown his face quite a few times in Kespa Cup. More of this consistent AD carry, kind of coming back into the meta after he got nerfed out of it. And Twitch being hovered here. You know what?
Ooh,
yeah, give me. We want like a spicy game, a content game. If you're gonna take me to 5, might as well give me something,
I mean, I do hate playing into a Twitch. She's one of my constant permabans because I hate anything that can go invisible. So I actually love this here. I think it's very fun. It sets up a very interesting bot lane kind of dynamic. Rel here is going to be the pick, which I do really like. I think Lightbringer clearly wants to play in the middle of the enemy team, and Magnet Storm is a great ultimate ability, as well as obviously, the knockups and the stuns, and Rel is overall, I think, a very good support. I think she is quite strong pretty much most of the time. So I do like that pickup here. I am so curious to see exactly where the rest of this draft is going. I genuinely did not expect Twitch to be the pickup here. Alistar makes a lot of sense here for the side of monkeys, but the top lane has been so contentious, and the Jax being first picked, but they're not responding with a top lane pick, because I do not believe, I'm assuming that's an Ivern jungle. I could be wrong, because now I can be wrong, because it's not
I'm really hoping this is Ivern top, or not Ivern top, Ivern jungle. You've literally stun locked me so hard by saying that it might not be Ivern jungle that I'm just flabbergasted. Anyways,
you never know.
Ivern jungle here for monkeys for sure. But the interesting thing about picking Rel here is her Q is called Shattering Strike, and the reason it's called that is because it breaks shields. But however, the Alistar is a great counter into it. Anytime she tries to crash down, you can headbutt it and cancel it out every single time. You can also pulverize it if you're in the right spot, but that's a little bit harder to do. So maybe the Rel won't have the impact that they're looking for here for the side of Elegy, but even then, they've had moments where maybe their draft shouldn't have clicked and it did, because, of course it did. Of course. Of course, everybody's going to make mistakes. No team is infallible, as we've seen with multiple 40-minute games here, back to back. So, Monkeys, I want to see them really solidify their draft here. Get Korra onto something that can really, supplement their damage. The Varus can do a lot of damage, but will be the orange. So saving last pick here for Korra might be something Monkeys need in their draft.
Yeah, they definitely need to make sure that they are capitalizing on the members of their team to make sure that they allow all of the chances possible for Korra and Nanites to be able to do their job. So saving last pick does make sense for me in that particular matchup, but I'm curious exactly how Elegy want to blind pick mid in this instance. Jace is picked up here by Hooligan, which is something I did clock as a potential pick here. So, and Jace is such a, it can go one of two ways. It could be like me playing Jace, and it is questionable if I know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. Or it could be the key here for Elegy to go ahead and take the win here in finals. So a lot of pressure on Hooligan on this Jace. Again, assuming Jace is mid. Fiddlesticks here.
I have no clue what's happening even anymore. What is this draft? It's just so anti-synergistic. They do have some great go-in options, right? Like the Fiddlesticks over the wall, which is, funnily enough, pretty impactful when people don't know where he is because they don't ward. Which may or may not play a part in this game.
True.
But Jace, I think, is a little interesting, to say the least. Is Katarina getting covered here? Didn't know we had Sinja playing in a E4 capped league, but Monkeys now with the Katarina. So some spice here from both teams. Korra whipping out the Katarina. Can she perform on it is the question, I suppose. The Varus as well. Lots of questions to be answered from Monkeys in this series. Not really, again, they need to turn it around. This is, match point already for Elegy. I say already as if, we aren't 80 minutes, 80-minute game, 2 games. So, okay. Yeah, I don't know. I believe, by the way, the third ban is probably Poppy, so it probably makes sense. Also picking Jax. I think picking Jax early is insane, and the fact it doesn't really get all that punished is also insane. It is annoying to play into the Ivern. But in general, against the Ornn, should have a decent time here, as it will be Fiddle Jungle, so... I am worried. Though. Ivern is such an insane champion right now. The amount of shielding you can do, and because you build basically like an enchanter in the jungle. Very annoying to play against.
The things that I am worried about, ironically for both teams, almost for the same reasons, does, as you mentioned earlier, your team comp make sense in a synergistic way? Because looking at both, my immediate answer is no. There are things about both teams in very similar ways where I'm just I'm not exactly sure what the read is here. Now, granted, again, we're in game 3 of a fearless draft situation. We're still trying to pick from pools that people feel like they can play really well. I did see Katarina on Korra's OP.gg, so that actually kind of makes sense to me. Same with Jace. But at the same time, there's a lot of potential for mistakes, and both teams have been so terrified of making mistakes for both games. I think game 2 was a lot better. We saw a lot more energy from both teams. It was a little bit more back and forth in an immediate sense, and not quite this drawn out Cold War state that we saw. So, but both teams still have this innate fear, I feel like. And since it is the final game, I mean, Monkeys, do they have the mental stability to really get back from 2 losses? Elegy, can they close out a final game, or are they going to get too ahead of themselves? I mean, I think both of those are very real issues, especially with team comps like this. There is such room for mistake and for error. Neither comp is safe. That it makes me not cautiously optimistic about how game 3 is going to go. I do think it's going to be fun and spicy. I'm not really sure for who.
I think as well, right, that honestly, something that I will mention is the Twitch could be the X factor. He is able to
Yeah.
outrange essentially every single person when he has his ultimate available. Spray and pray. Going to be able to do quite a lot here for the Twitch. And the Jace should actually have a good lane into the Katarina. Funnily enough, I think Jace should be able to punish Katarina very easily in the lane. And then, of course, you have the ever-looming threat of the Fiddlesticks just in any pocket of vision ever, ulting over that pocket and murdering your entire team with the Growstorm.
I love a horror game in League of Legends.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I
Psychological
love
warfare.
horror games. I love horror games. But what's funny is, like, I don't really, like, Fiddlesticks scares me less than Nocturne. I don't know what it is.
Huh. Interesting.
I don't know what it is.
I mean, if it's surprise party Fiddlesticks, it'll scare me the most. Bringing back skins. I brought full circle. We're talking about skins again. You can't stop me.
God.
I'm so glad everyone is with us here. We are at match point for Berserker finals here. This best of 5 is looking really dangerous for monkeys. But yeah, this is going to be a spicy one. It's going to be a fun one. And hopefully it'll be a bloody one.
We're gonna hit a small break here as we load into the Rift, which is pretty atypical for, typical Titan watchers. But of course, we're unexpected stream today for the most part, so kind of throwing this together. So stick with us, but we will be right back. Don't go anywhere because this best of 5 might be heating up here if monkeys can bounce back.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to this game number 3 between Elegy Echoes and Monkeys Chopped. So far, it's been Elegy in 2 back-to-back, back-and-forth games here, where Elegy were able to reclaim, or I mean, not reclaim, I guess just, we're the ones able to fell the Nexus. Elegy in game 1, able to come back with an open Nexus, getting sieged, in fact, getting hit to win that one. In game 2, a little bit cleaner. The Nexus was not open, thankfully, but a little bit of an invade coming out. Will Heater recognize it?
Oh,
Heater
no.
is fine. Oh, the flash Q coming through from Cooper, but where's the follow-up? And there is none. Okay.
I like the energy,
Well,
though.
invade. Flash unavailable for Cooper. Will be the Ignite teleport here for the Katarina. But I will say I do like the swap.
Mm-hmm.
That is something I really, really, really enjoy. I really like, you know, seeing teams try to innovate on level 1s, which may not be available next year, which kind of sucks. You know, I'm gonna miss that time period. League is gonna go through a whole lot of changes. But enough about that. We have this game right in front of us here on 15-24.
Mm-hmm.
As now it's going to be Hooligan poking out. I alluded to the Jace probably having a great time into the Katarina and should be able to do so for quite some time. Crash time coming through. Level 1 here is very weak. Will be the Poke Varus variant coming through from Nanites with the Comet. And it's Electrocute Jace here in the mid lane.
I'm kind of hoping that we're gonna see. I mean, this is it, right? You know, there are no more games after this. Quite literally, this could be the end of the line for Monkeys for their season. And I'm really hoping we're gonna see a little bit more, maybe cheese factor. Maybe, you know, one thing that worked for Elegy surprisingly last game was all of them standing in a bush for what felt like about 5 minutes. And they got them a couple of kills, and also, I believe, the Baron on top of that, and if not, the Herald. So I'm hoping we'll see Monkeys kind of follow the same line, you know, willing to put it on the line and willing to throw everything at the wall and see what sticks.
Yeah, nice trade here coming in from Hooligan, but Korra goes back in with the Ignite, but Jace just does way too much damage in the early game. Korra may be a little bit inexperienced in this matchup and pays the price with their blood. As Bray and Lightbringer here in this bot lane. Crash down will get canceled. Stealth coming through from Bray. Just to help clear out this wave. Nanites gonna have the lane priority here. Lightbringer though going in on the spot side. Just more poke onto Dreamy. As Nanites taking a lot of damage here. Is forced to flash. Level 3 coming through for Nanites and Dreamy. Q will hit. And now Lightbringer really on the back foot here. Dreamy Frog. It will be the Ignite here once again for Lightbringer. As I think both supports have kind of had some struggles here. Nice engage coming through, but look at the gank coming from Surbag as he is here on the Fiddlesticks. The fear coming through. Dreamy gonna flash away, but the E comes through. The expunge from Bray is enough damage, and Nanite's gonna be caught out as well. Silence can't even flash away or barrier. As now Nanites goes down the Twitch, getting a lead. Heater in trouble here in the top side. Void not going to be able to find it. Leap Strike coming through. Nice flash forward, but will force out He's Flash. And that'll be all she wrote there for the top lane. But already Feats of Warfare claimed. And you talked about the early game, Bexen, but maybe not for Elegy.
No, I mean, this is the kind of energy I was hoping for, but honestly, from the other side, what looked to be a pretty good engage there from Dreamy Frog, unfortunately, they didn't have the vision. They had no idea that Surbag was there, ready for a gank, and they made absolutely fantastic use of it. 2 kills there, going to the side of the Twitch, and also, as you mentioned earlier, 1 kill already on Hooligan, maybe 2. Korra barely making it away.
Okay, Shock Blast is really going to go wide. But the move speed can come in through. They do Korra does have Shunpo here to utilize onto a minion if he gets gone on. As Oh, actually,
Ooh.
Hooligan forced the flash away. Nice Q coming in from Cooper, but Hooligan playing a little bit too aggressively there. Is going to need to back away from the wave. Do not want to go down to the Ivern, as it will be the Symbiotic Soul start here as Heater utilizing the Counter-Strike a little bit early. Usually how you want to use it is actually wait for the like W to come through, or like for its Empower auto attack, so you can cancel it so you don't take the damage. Engage here on the bot side. But that hasn't really been happening so far. He's been utilizing the Counter-Strike really aggressively and kind of not really avoiding any of the damage coming through, which is making the lane phase a little uncomfortable, as we can tell in the CS numbers. But just Cooper making his way towards bot lane. Surbag pathing this way as well, but here comes the gank in the bot side. Counter-Strike comes through, stunts on the top side, but bot lane play so far seems like they're okay. I can't really tell as directed camera, so we're just I'm looking at the mini map, and they do find a kill onto Dreamy. So, and Cooper might fall down as well. I'd imagine the expunge is not there. The flash forward into the stun, and comes to the crash down, and Nanites will trade back 1-for-1, but again, it's this Twitch and this Fiddle getting ahead. Cooper on the Ivern, not able to do much in the way of saving his bot lane off of a play that Monkeys initiated.
I mean, I think that just speaks to the confidence here that Elegy are playing with, managing to turn what was a gank against them into a win for them. 3-1 already on this Twitch. 1 kill here on the Jace. I mean, already the momentum seems to be in Elegy's favor. On the back of 2 wins, you have to imagine they're feeling good. A little bit of a fight here.
This Void coming through.
Or maybe not.
Though, is going to be okay, so... Yeah,
Top lane's a mystery.
I mean, you know. Lightbringer is hanging around here around Dreamy. Hooligan. Crashdown will come through. And the damage. Nice E as well to shove him back, as Lightbringer is fine. So Hooligan and Lightbringer will convert that kill. Will be the Ignite taking that one. Empowered Shock Blast. Kind of laying on Cora for quite a bit of damage here. This Jace starting to get out of control already for Cora on this Katarina. The damage really starting to scale up now for the Jace with the Serrated Thurk already in the inventory. Surbag walking in on Cooper. We'll get rooted up here. Nice silence. But we'll not get the Fear attached to that. Hooligan will hit the Empower Shock Blast. Damage really isn't there. Lightbringer is back again. Shunpo to the minion. But they're going to force Cora to lose so much of this wave here in mid lane. As now it really does feel like Elegy fully awake and ramped into this series. As Cooper getting collapsed on now. Does not have flash. Heater might find this kill. Leaf Strike coming through. And does respect Void being there. As Daisy, unfortunately, is going to go down. They might go for a dive here on the bot side, if possible. Nanites doing a lot of damage here. Bray does need to be respectful. Here comes the stealth from Twitch. As Bray pushes forward, disrespecting, does have flash. We'll see Dreamy, and walks away. No summoner spell needed. Grubs, though, going to the way of Elegy, and Elegy, I think, maybe Bexon for the first time in any of our games. 3K will be the biggest lead that any team has had in the early game. As here comes the Call of the Forge God, will knock up. Nice sidestep on the Counter-Strike, and Void outplays, and in the bot side, the dive coming through. Dreamy, though, doesn't have the ult, but doesn't burn away. Cooper get here as well to shield him off, but the burn wouldn't have mattered anyways. The poison does not matter, as Bray is low. Piercing arrow will land. It's not going to be enough damage though, and again, Elegy will continue their lead here. Bray, of course, doing really well in this bot lane, working towards the Yuntels. Will be very close to it. We'll actually have it up in this base, so my fault. Drake spawned up here though, as both teams now wanting to play around this. And I think I'm gonna drop and let you talk before they fight. Probably, hopefully.
I mean, it's sure to be imminent. I mean, every single one of these early objectives, Elegy just seems to have such tight control on. And I mean, for the side of Elegy, it seems like there's such commanding presence in all lanes, even if it's not necessarily a winning lane, right? This Jax here having a little bit of trouble in the top side, but Heater had some pretty impressive plays a little bit earlier on some of those jungle catches. And as we know from previous games, has the ability to be useful, especially in late game. But looking down, one thing I'm really worried for the side of Monkey is Dreamy Frog just seems to not be able to catch a break this entire game. And speaking of Dragon Fight, it looks like there might be one starting now.
Yes, Drake is coming through. Here comes Daisy to push away Bray, but it does get smited down. He is on a ward. Crowstorm not going to fear anyone, and they might just run away here from Surbag. Nice double knockup coming in from Daisy, putting in a lot of work. Q is going to miss from Nanites, forces out the flash over the wall, but the spray and pray is going in on a Dreamy. Dreamy has been getting picked on all series long, and it happens again in this game. Bray picks up another. Piercing arrow will miss as well onto Lightbringer. The blighted arrow was utilized there. Crashdown will miss. Shattering strike does hit though. Bray, no follow-up. Blightbringer, no flash available. Nanite's going to pick up a kill. Barrier coming through. Here comes the E as well. But it's going to be enough damage coming through from Bray. Bray picks up another one. Now on the hunt for Cooper. Minions are taking away Bray pretty hard here, so can't chase the Ivern any longer. Heater now in this top side. Bella's Breath is going to land. Here comes the Leap Strike, potentially. The flash is very preemptive from Heater. Heater goes through Void. It's such a close 1v1, as now Heater might have choked that kill with a very, very risky, or like very scared flash. Void does have Q. Nice counter strike, and the Q will miss, so Heater picks up a solo kill in the top lane.
Just patient enough, managing to avoid the abilities, and despite honestly what seemed to be a premonition level flash there for the Jax, able to work out in their favor, waiting for just the right moment to get that kill onto Void. The Jax trying to fight back in this lane, making their way mid-tower. Tier 1 already gone for the side of Monkeys. Hooligan just absolutely crushing on this Jace here in the mid lane. Just immense amounts of damage, and the CS just wildly in favor here for Elegy. But I mean, it just looks so difficult for Monkeys. Where do you find your way back into this game? Already it feels so rough, but as we know from the previous two, it is not over until literally the Nexus explodes, and we have seen stranger things happen. So, oh no, Dreamy.
Yeah, Dreamy forced to utilize the ult here. Piercing arrow will do very little damage, but spray and pray behind the tower. Nanites Expunge is taking him away with the poison, and it's enough just barely to take him off, as Spray now in the stealth gonna find Cooper. Cooper does have flash available, is gonna be able to flash. Cora now on the rotate. Bray is literally just standing behind their tier 1 tower, farming damage here. Elegy really showing up in this game. Comparatively to what we saw, the games were so much more back and forth, but Elegy shutting out Monkey so far in game number 3, where Elegy is up 2-0. Monkeys might not have enough gas in the tank. Speaking of Void,
my gosh,
definitely won't have enough HP left in the tank, as Heater picks up another solo kill in this top lane.
Is this the same team that we watched these previous two games? Elegy seem genuinely on fire here. They can sense the end of finals, and by God, do they want the trophy. Heater may be in trouble, though.
Is going to be gone on by Cooper, but unfortunately that is an Ivern, so not a lot of solo damage without Daisy, for sure. Would need the Daisy there probably to secure that kill. Teleport coming in through for Cora will not find the kill either, so Heater able to walk away to safety. The Jace as well, matching in the top side. So Cora on this Katarina is really starting to get behind here. 50 CS almost is the lead here for Hooligan on this Jace. And I'm always a little apprehensive about Jace, especially in lower elos, but Hooligan playing so well. Bray as well, 6-1 on the Twitch. Phenomenal stuff coming out from Elegy.
Would you say it's a spray and Bray?
Nope. I'm not letting that happen. This is not happening.
My apologies to chat, but this Twitch is looking absolutely gigantic. 6-1 with the shutdown already. 15 minutes into the game. The tempo decidedly here in favor so far of Elegy. No caster curses available. And Heater and Void now fighting it out in bot lane. Same thing that we just saw, but on the other side of the map. Meanwhile, there's a lot of movement here around the Herald, and I do not think Monkeys can really contest. I mean, honestly, if you're the side of Monkeys, you're hoping...
Gonna miss. Heater might be in trouble. Call the Fortune Job coming through, and yeah, that's just a solo kill. Both top laners, you know, this game might not be as back as forth as everything, but these top laners for sure keeping it even with one another as continue to fight. And again, Heater kind of misunderstanding how you're supposed to play this matchup, but that's okay. As the Ornn will pick up this bot tower surely. Hooligan's teleport is available. And now we might see a Drake coming through for Monkeys. Will it be another Kimtech Soul here, Bexen? There are bushes here. There will be no response. Lightbringer is walking into danger. Unknowingly, as now Lightbringer does get headbutted out of the crash town. They're looking onto Cooper, though, who has no flash available. This Ivern is just dead.
Oh, wow.
The Twitch does not care about this tree. Cuts it down somehow with a gun. I mean, pretty American thing to do. As Void now has actually a great Crow Storm over the wall. Doesn't really get the fear, though, thanks to the ward placed over the wall. But Bray now does have Spray and Pray onto Korra. Korra has nowhere to Shunpo to, and it will be a kill onto Korra as well as they pick up, unfortunately, Dreamy once again 0-5 on the Alistar under the tier 1 as they're going to threaten this tier 2 with the Herald. Shelly getting a lot of usage here. They pick up 2 towers and the gold lead. Don't look if you're a Monkeys fan. 7.6 thousand gold at 17 minutes is the most decisive any game has been all night.
By a long shot, like not even close. We are sitting at 17 minutes, and it seems like one team so far, at the moment, is decidedly in charge. The Elegy here absolutely running the rift. I mean, it just seems like every lane went the way of Elegy despite Void's best attempts here.
Hooligan forces out the flash. Does have to use his flash as well off the response from the Chains of Corruptions from Nanites, but man, Nanite's really scared of the Jace there, despite Cooper and Dreamy both being literally right on top of him.
I mean, I can't blame him.
I mean, you know.
I can't blame them. That's a scary Jace.
The Jace is scary. Serpent's playing online as well.
Yeah.
Here for the Jace. Mirror Mana being worked on here. Once that is finished, it will be the Mirror Mana instant transformation. Lightbringer able to crash down over the wall away from Void. Void does have some kills here. Not sure. Fear away as Lightbringer is going in. And here comes the ultimate Crow Storm from Surbag. Damage from Bray is enough onto Nanites, but look, Surbag on the other side of the fight is 1v1ing Void, and the Katarina of Korra forces out the flash coming through from Surbag. Surbag is out of the fight, but it doesn't matter. Look at Bray. Bray is running down just Cooper, as also Hooligan at the very top end of this fight kills Dreamy for the 6th time. Lightbringer now and Void kind of duking it out a little bit. Top versus support. Somehow Light is able to live this one, and Korra left running for her life. As you might be as agile as a cat, but I don't know if you're getting yourself out of this one, as Korra is going to be caught out by Bray here. The expunge will do it. And Bray picks up the 11th in this match.
I mean, that Twitch, this is why Twitch is often a fan for me. They are everywhere all the time. This is truly a battle of psychological warfare, a bit of a horror game. If you're the side of Monkeys, you have not only the Fiddlesticks, but a Jace and also an invisible rat on your tail at all times. Heater may be in a bit of trouble, but I think he'll get out just fine. But it is 20-4 with a 10k gold lead here in game 3, and Elegy are absolutely running it. I believe we're getting to the point where it's a little bit of hitting them with your wallet. Itemization just far and above here for Elegy compared to Monkeys. They just can't get the CS. Unfortunately, many members really behind in terms of CS and also levels. You know, that is a level 13 Jace compared to a level 11 here Katarina. So it's just looking really grim for the monkeys. Again, not over till it's over. There's many opportunities for them to get in. We have seen the monkeys come back through some pretty interesting and fascinating team fights. So it's kind of up to Elegy to make sure that they do not lose track of where their members are. It was almost a little bit of a nightmare there in that mid-fight. It looked like Lightbringer and Surbag were a little out of position, but they were able to bring it back largely with how much damage Bray does, as well as that TP from Hooligan.
Bray is very fed here on the Twitch. Dreamy will be clearing out some wards. Some poke coming through from Hooligan will only connect onto Dreamy. Surbag, no flash available here. Nice fear though, will keep himself from getting caught onto Void. As Atacon spawned in here, we have 18 seconds to this Infernal Drake. Will be the second Drake here for either team if they can pick it up. Back coming through, or back was channeled here from Void, but look at this collapse. They are kind of split, but it might be a bait. And look, the Crowstorm comes through, hits onto one, the crash down as well is going to be good, onto two. And look at Bray spraying through their team. Surbag might be going down, but it doesn't matter at the end of the day when you have Bray. In Bray we trust. Pray in him as he takes them down, and they walk down mid lane to potentially end this game off of an ace at 21 minutes.
I'm not sure they'll fully be able to get a win here. We've seen what happens when you push a little too far. But that being said, they're just so ahead of the game. Monkeys really, this is it. This is the final stand. It's Hail Mary time. Can the monkeys hold out?
Dreamy now standing here waiting for the members to respawn. 2 seconds, 1 second here as the entire team is up. So they would have to ace again. Bray's kind of hanging around back here. Seeming like it's not going to be an end. So game will continue. One more fight here for monkeys. Can they scrape together something? 4K gold up for both this for both this Jace and this Twitch. Not the Ivern. Not the Ivern. The Ivern's down in gold as well, about 2,000. But we'll be Drake number 2 here for Elegy. Going to the Infernal. It will be Infernal Soul, so no triple Kimtech Soul repeat.
Shocking.
I know. Atacon for sure is gone, though. They can't contest this. Baron spawning up in 2.5 minutes, which will probably be the death knell, I think, for monkeys.
Yeah, I mean, either they are able to take away the Baron from Elegy, but at what cost, I think, is at the moment. But like I said, it's time for a Hail Mary play. What are you going to do? Can you find the picks?
Bray finds Nanite. Nanite, look at this damage from Bray. He's in a 1v3 doing this much damage, but the shielding comes through. Bray finally goes down to the Alistar. Surbag does get rooted, and you know what? Miracle plays. They're going to need a lot more of these picks, but here comes Surbag getting, knocked up, and this is a kill over to Korra. A misplay from Elegy, but again, even with that, the gold lead remains to be just under 11,000. So sure, yes, they gave over some kills, they gave over some shutdowns, but does it matter that much? No. Let's be honest, it doesn't. This squad from Elegy is so fed that it just doesn't matter.
I'll offer a little bit of copium here. With supers pushing into your base, there is an opportunity to grind some gold and try and close that lead a little bit. That's a possibility. I'm here to offer as much copium as monkeys may want. It does look so disastrous, but Elegy.
Don't look at the damage done. Do not look at the damage done. Do not look at the damage done if you are a Monkeys fan. I repeat.
Pay no attention to the graph in the corner if you're a Monkeys fan. A little bit rough here. Baron up here in 43. I do believe it would make sense here for Elegy to try and push for that, but it looks instead like they want maybe some kills in the Nexus. I don't even think they think it's worth it. Yeah,
now Bray utilizing the stealth is seen by the tower. But Korra still shunbows in and just dies.
Oh.
Bray once again in the stealth as Lightbringer trying to look for an angle. I mean, they were kind of stacked up there. This would be a phenomenal engage to take. You have flash ult and the crash down as well.
And Magnus Storm?
Yeah, and the Magnet Storm, which is pretty important as well to the kit, but Baron spawning in. Pretty
I love
handy.
Santa Baron.
Yeah, it's pretty handy Baron here is Hooligan still going for poke here. But look, what can they do? Korra respawning in 4 seconds, so they are turtling a little bit. You know, they were in a 4v5, so able to turtle quite well. The top inhibitor, here comes Call of the Forge God. Last desperation play, it gets stunned out. Void not able to find it, crash down, will get canceled. The shock blast landed on the 2, but Crowstorm, this game is just cooked as it is. The chefs of Monkeys, they might be on the game show of Chopped, but they are getting eliminated for their performance in this last game, as it will be Elegy winning your grand finals here in Titan Berserker 3-0.
Wow. That was a game. I mean,
Yeah.
at this point, I'm not even actually sure what needs to be said. That was by far a commanding win. At the end, a 15k gold lead there for the side of Elegy. 31 kills to 7. I mean, the Monkeys were just kind of goners from this start. Every lane had a lead, and Bray, again, MVPs of the day, really. Hooligan on this Jace, and also Bray on this Twitch. I mean, the Monkeys, it just felt like they didn't have a chance.
Yes, we are going to see some of the stats here as we'll waffle through this. I'm sure we might have an interview potentially cooked up here. Maybe. We're going to ask the team, not going to force them to come interview us, but leave that on the
Interview
card. But
us.
congratulations! You know, congratulations to Elegy for winning grand finals here. And yes, game 1s and 2 were kind of long, very back and forth, but this last game really proving that it's not a fluke, deserving of this win for sure. And look at the damage chart. It's
man.
it is just a little unfortunate, to say the
Well, it
least.
hurts to look at, honestly.
It does. It is unfortunate, but again, congratulations to Elegy and a nice try from Monkeys Chopped. Just unable to do much here, as yeah, really, Bray, 2 standout performances back to back on the 80 carry. Kaisa and the Twitch for sure. Hooligan in game 1 was so pivotal on the Talia. That, yeah, just a really well played stuff. But I think we're going to hit a break here and see what's happening, see if we can get an interview or what's happening. And if not, we'll let you come back, let you know if there's no interview, and we'll end there. But again, stick around and we'll be right back. and I guess I will talk to the rest of everyone here watching at the end.
Yeah, first, I also want to say congratulations. What an incredible 3-0, especially that last game. Such a stomp to win grand finals here. So I'm just going to start off super easy. Hooligan, how do you feel after that 3-game series?
I feel pretty good. I got to play my three favorite champs. I think all three of our games went, pretty much according to our plan, and I feel good.
And what about you, Lightbringer? After, such being support can be really hard. So how are you feeling now that it's over and you come away with the trophy?
Yeah, I mean, it was amazing. I think game one was definitely our most like sitting edge of seat pressure, and we saw our window, we won it, and we just knew we could win.
Speaking of, I mean, your Nexus was open and about half dead when you came back to a win. So I'll start with you, Lightbringer. How, especially as a support where it can be very difficult, you got some misses and you die some because, you're all up in it. How do you stay in it? How did you all stay in the game? How did you stick it out to the very end?
I mean, personally, for me as a support player, I think that if I can, just save my teammates from dying and everything, I think that that's the biggest win, is making sure that if I die, then it's fine. My teammates will pick up and get the kills and win it for the match. I'm just there to push them there and get them to the goal.
Absolutely. And I want to say you had some fantastic plays, some highlights for me, especially where there was a fantastic Nature's Grasp kind of ultimate ability that zoned monkeys out of a Baron fight that allowed you to essentially kind of capitalize on a win. And also, you had a fantastic Rel game. I'm very biased. I love a Rel. But what was a highlight for you from the series? What is something you're going to take away with you from this grand finals?
So first of all, the zoning, I can't take credit for all. Definitely Hooligan helped with that shot call as well. And I think the biggest thing I'm taking away is that I won in Gladiators summer this year, and now I won Berserker and fall.
You're just collecting them all.
Exactly.
And for you, Hooligan, I mean, there's not enough things that can be said for some truly impressive plays all 3 games. I mean, I'm pretty sure Ozzy said your seismic shoves changed a fight, I think 400 times in the first game, especially, getting close to the edge there. And then your Jace, chef's kiss, very shocking, pun intended. But what about you? What was a highlight for you from the matches?
I mean, I think the whole laning phase of Game 3 was a big highlight for me. I mean, that was about textbook how you want that lane to go for Jace, and I feel like I created a whole lot of pressure in that game and had Ivern and Alistar trying to hover around the Katarina. It took a lot of pressure off my side lane, so I think that whole laning phase was probably my highlight.
And then also following up on that, I mean, Game 3, I think we can all agree, was a very different kind of game than the first 2. What changed? What was the mentality going into Game 3, Hooligan, that really allowed for such an impressive finish to the series?
I mean, I think we just had a read on them after Game 3. I mean, Game 1 was a big feel-out game for us, and then Game 2 we found our confidence, and I think Game 3 we realized that we could just draft aggressive picks, comfort picks with the Twitch and the Jace and the Fiddle, and just close the game out. And I feel like it was just a supreme level of confidence for us in Game 3.
It absolutely showed. I mean, it was definitely a delight to watch, and I don't want it to go on too long. I know you probably have some celebrating that you definitely deserve. And I'll kind of wrap up with this. I'll start with you, Lightbringer. What, for this entire season, I know you said this is the second trophy, so maybe it's not quite as cool, but what was a highlight for you from this entire season ending here as the grand finals winners?
It's good that I think the biggest thing is, I think I would say probably the people, to be honest. I was a little nervous at the beginning when I joined the team and stuff like that, and kind of had a little trouble getting my fitting in and things like that. But I think overall, as time went by and we all played and got happy and mad together, it all just kind of came together every time we showed up for matches.
That's excellent. And for you, Hooligan, what about you? What is something you're going to take away from this entire season, a highlight for you?
I'm just proud of everybody. This team was thrown together 10 days before the season started, and like none of us had ever played together except for me and Bags, and there was like a lot of rough patches in the beginning where we didn't really know if we were going to be able to find our own like play style, and I think we really figured out how to play around each other, and I think that was like the communication that we developed over the season was really important.
All right. Is there anything else you'd like to say before I toss it back to Ozzy to end out this season and finals?
A shout out to Bray for playing out of his mind, and shout out to everybody that was watching. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Lightbringer, anything else?
Yeah, definitely to my ADC, doing great. Especially, I got to give huge credits to not only Bags but like Geo most of all. You know, it's tough being in that top lane and getting weak sided a lot of times and still being able to pull through. And then just to ELG, the org itself, for helping us through and everything, and it's been a pleasure playing for them.
Absolutely. What a fantastic note to end on. And once again, congratulations to you both and also the rest of your team for a fantastic win. And I'll toss it back to Ozzy for our final goodbye.
Of course, I want to thank the players. Thank you too for the interview, of course, and providing the matchup for us today. Thanks to all the viewers at home that make this possible. And of course, thanks for Raven for doing production behind the scenes. Please give a big round of applause here for Raven. And also, your 2025 Winter Split winners of the Grand Finals in the Berserker Titan League, Elegy Echoes. Congratulations to you once again. And I've been Ozzy, joined by Bexen, and here are interviewees, both Hooligan and Lightbringer. Thank you so much, everyone, and we will see you next year. Have a great holiday.
Thank you.